Aloha gang! Happy Aloha Friday. Yes, you officially made it to Friday. It's the end of the day and we're all getting ready. Oh my gosh, to go into a weekend, which for some of us will be working. For others, you'll be having fun. Okay, let's see if I can get all these doggies quiet and then we are going to kick off three different cases I wanted to, and I know a lot of people are talking about two of these cases. Sebastian, not Sebastian, sorry, Caleb, not as much, but I want to keep Caleb's name out there. Caleb is tied to this community. Um, Family, friends actually are part of our community. So I want to keep his name out there. And I think we also still have Mariah out missing too. Sleuth, do you know, is Mariah still missing too? I was wondering about that and I meant to check that and I totally forgot to. So, but let me say a quick hi to everyone. And then I'm going to tell you about this little sweetheart right next to me up here. We have an Amber Alert out for her, so I want to share that. But some quick hey there. First of all, In the Bushes was in the chat before everyone else. Thank you, girl. Thank you so much. And yes, tap that bell, hit the reminders, hit notifications, get all of the good stuff, and then you'll be good. And Sleuth, hello, hello. Sleuth, Mariah was found? Okay, that's awesome. I was checking the other day, I forget when it was, and it looked, I didn't know, but it looked like she was still missing at the time. So that's, oh God, thank God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay, yay. Okay, sorry. We need some good news, guys. We need some good news. I don't know about you guys, but this issue of case after, and yes, we were talking about this, a couple of us, the other day, that when you're dealing with missing people, more times than often they're not going to end happily ever after. Okay, but when you get one that ends with everyone coming home, you celebrate. You got to celebrate. So but Sleuth Mom, hello. Hello, hello. You are into pointers. They're so cute. They are so cute. And I love any dog. Any dog takes the win. I want a hedgehog, but I can't have hedgehogs in Hawaii, but we won't get off on that subject right now. So, um, cold coffee, hot coffee is now cold coffee. I should have thrown some ice in there and we would have been great. Who out there likes iced coffee? I'm like, at this time when the hot goes down to lukewarm, I'm like throwing some ice and I'm set. So who else? We got Seal in the house, my dear, and Angie Marie. Bubsy, how you doing, Bubsy? Hello, hello, hello. And there's my KK. I love you, my dear. Kathleen, hello, hello, hello. Wisconsin. Yep. Elijah is still missing. Hey, DL. And we're actually going to start after I do the Amber Alert. We are going to go straight into Elijah. I do have a question going up there, a poll going on as to which of the three cases we're talking about tonight are you the most interested in finding out what's going on with. Certain cases hit us in that little spot in our heart that just seems to grab onto them. And I was wondering about, for you guys, which of those cases hit that with you. And we're getting the comments now. Iced coffee for In the Bushes and Angie Marie. Yes. Oh, Kathleen's here too. Hello, Kathleen. And also Sebastian for Bubsy. Yep, there's really, it's hard to follow. You guys know what it's like. It's hard to follow all these cases sometimes. But some of them just work, and you've got to know it's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning. You're pulling out, okay, web sleuths or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, trying to get updates, checking the news, discords, what's going on. That's the first thing I do every single morning is I try to check that, or has someone sent me a message or something like that to let me know, because usually by the time I wake up, you guys have already spent half of your day. Madeline there's just been so many heartbreaking cases right now. All the cases In the Bushes. Yeah, all the cases. And that's the thing. It's so hard. You guys take care. I was actually talking to a couple people about this. When we follow these cases, take care of yourself. take care of your own mental health because, gang, this is hard to deal with day in and day out. There's nothing wrong with taking some time for yourself. Okay, because after all, we can't speak for them and we can't be their voice if we barely have any voice coming out because it's just become too much. It's like anyone who's a caregiver. It's the same thing. You take care of yourself so you can take care of them. Ooh, Seal had a latte with extra espresso. Oh my God. That would do it. That would do it. Mine is actually Keurig, but I collect these cups. I don't know if you guys have seen all the Starbucks ones like this. I collect them. Okay. And in fact, this one is the New York one. I've never been to New York, but what happened was one of the actors in one of the shows I was in saw it and I saw him drinking out of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did you get that? And I told him I collect them. And next thing I know, the next day he comes over and he says, here, I want you to have it. So I got my New York cup that way. I love it. But I can get the Hawaii ones for anyone who collects them on the mainland. Just let me know. Exactly. You can't pour from an empty glass. There are so many, and yeah, you can't. And oh, thank you. Thanks, Bubsy. Love you, my dear. So let me pull this up first. I don't want to waste too much time before getting into this. I'm hearing different names for mom. This is according to the NCMEC posters that came out. This is an Amber Alert that actually Iris, the 7-year-old here from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, went missing on the 1st. She was with her mother. Mom is a non-custodial parent. And there looks like there's some pretty heavy history of issues involving custody in this case. That's what I'm guessing. Okay, I haven't looked into it deeply yet. But on the 1st, she was last seen. Where was she last seen? Okay, it was off on the Blue Fox Trail area of Murfreesboro. She may be with her mom, and you're seeing her mom. I'm suspecting that's Kyla Crum. What is worrisome initially, this was, I think they were just looking in the normal routes. There was no Amber Alert. Today, they issued the Amber Alert. They must have gotten more information. I don't know if it's tied to that last sentence there, because Kyla is wanted by the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, Tennessee, for custodial interference, and the San Diego County Sheriff's Office in California for felony child abduction. So some very serious concerns there. She has been missing for 8 days. We are now hitting the road, getting her face out. She is the most adorable little thing. I mean, look at that smile. Look at that attitude. She got attitude, that girl. I love her. And so I just love her. She looks so sweet. Now, hello, La Princesa, my dear. Hello, hello. She is a sweetheart there. So please help us share out. I have not shared out on, ooh, yeah, I've only done it on my community tab. So once I'm done here, I'll post it to Facebook, to Discord. But right now, if you go to my community tab, you can share this out. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Actually, sorry, Seal, I'm going to say your name on this. Seal and I were talking the other day, Seal, and a lot of you guys, if you pay for YouTube Premium, so you don't get all the dang commercials and stuff like that, you got a community tab. You can use a community tab. You don't have to go live or anything. You don't have to do content, but you can have a community tab. And you could get people to come to your channel and use your community tab to help get the word out about these children. So if you are YouTube Premium, take a look at that. And because it's an amazing option for those of you who have it. And so let's see. Please keep an eye out. Call 911. Call the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office if you see either Kyla or Iris. And as we hear more, we'll give you updates. I'm trying to change how I do all this. Up to now, I've always done kind of the let's cover a story, and then I try to do updates, but I don't necessarily get to them. I'm really trying to follow some of these cases through for you guys, because I know I want to know what's going on, but you guys want to also. And what's nice is a lot of times you guys are talking about the cases in the morning. By the time it gets to me out here in Hawaii, you guys have already started thinking about things. So we can actually talk and have great discussions here in chat about cases. So I'm going to go ahead. I will share Iris out later. However, let's see. How is things looking? Oh my gosh, are we 50-50? We are 50-50 on the Elijah, Sebastian, or Caleb thing. So I was actually going to choose who to do first based off of that, but I will make my own decision. And I think I have Elijah's stuff closest to me right now. So we will start with Elijah. So a couple things we're going to go through, some of the updates about what's been going on. Sorry, I'm going to have a little dog being a little twerp right now. Let me share out, get ready to share this little bugger here. Okay, so we'll be set for that. Now, Elijah, as you guys know, okay, most of you guys I know, okay, who these cases are. You may not know Caleb as much, so I'll let you know a little bit more when we get to him. However, some of the biggest issues, especially over the last 24 hours, is we did see both mom and boyfriend end up in Katrina and all, and Bang ended up in the court. Okay, court was hearing about possibly decreasing bond. During that thing, and I'm going to show you one of the comments that was made. Actually, Katrina's mom wrote a letter to the court asking them to please do not drop her bond. She's known Katrina longer than anyone else in the world. And she's like, no, that is not something she could run, all sorts of other stuff. So we're going to play that in a second. But the other big thing that happened in this, and I know it's become a big thing kind of on social media, but it's a normal thing for most of us. When you're having court, all of us have our t-shirts. When we have someone missing, we kind of advocate and show that we care about them through our t-shirts or our flags or things like that. People were wearing t-shirts to the courthouse today. And the judge did have to step up and say, moving forward, he's going to have to ask people to leave if they're wearing those t-shirts. And I know it's frustrating. I don't know how you guys believe, and if any of you guys know the reason why they don't do that. Yeah, Seal, this letter, I am so happy she wrote. And we're going to listen to the letter. Sleuth actually played the whole thing this morning. So we're going to listen to part of it there. But especially once the two start coming into the court itself, it could be seen as swaying. Okay, potential jury, things like that. There's a lot of things that can come into play when you're wearing outfits, clothing, buttons, things like that. So he's trying to get a hold of everything right now and reminding people you can't go doing this. Okay, so get used to it right now. So let me go ahead and bring this up. So as I mentioned, the main reason for this court hearing was to discuss bond. There is an amended complaint. We're going to go over that amended complaint. I know a lot of you, it says the jury and the court. Yeah, exactly, Cupcake. And by the way, hey. And we are going to go through the amended complaint. Even though it did come out, and a lot of people have gotten to review it. I find the more I review it, the more I start seeing things, and we can really get a better idea now what's going on, because there's a lot more information in this complaint now. However, as they went through, first of all, Vang does not have a lawyer yet, so they're kind of having to deal with things differently in that case. He's filing his own, requests and things like that. However, for her, Katrina, they wanted to lower the bond because of this amended complaint coming in. They had that opportunity. The judge said, no, not happening. Thank you for asking. Okay, pass, collect 200, move on. Okay, we're going, well, don't collect 200, but you know the idea. And also, but what I found very interesting in this, and Seal, I agree with you, Katrina's mom wrote a letter. Okay, and it showed, we talk all the time about parents who cover for their children. We know all the cases about it. Okay, you guys can list them all off. Okay, Brian's family. Okay, keep going on and on and on. Well, this was a case where a parent said, you know what? What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I know my child and I know they're playing games right now. And I don't want them to be given that opportunity to do so. So let me go here so we can listen to this. Mom decided, I got to do what's right. And that is saying, please don't let her out on a lower bond. So, as I mentioned, Sleuth had a great live this morning. I've been watching it for the off and on throughout the day, and really great live, talking about quite a few different things. Peter Hyatt, which was very interesting. But this, I want to just play real quickly the part about the letter so you guys can hear the letter.
Behalf of, so if you can give me the name and spell the last name.
Okay. The name is Jody. And the statement is, I have known Katrina Bauer longer than anyone else as I am her mother. At this time, I am asking the court to deny any bond modification for a multitude of reasons. I understand bond is not meant to be a punishment, but as an assurance to appear. While you have access to some of Katrina's records, there are records in other states, including Nevada and California, you are not seeing. She has contacts in other states that may be willing to assist her depending on the story she is telling. Her story always depends on her audience. At this time, rather than aligning in locating her son, she feels the need to reiterate what a good guy Jesse is and is fully defending him and his actions.
I'm loving this mom. And I'm just going to stop it there for a second. Her stepping up, basically saying, my daughter can be very manipulative. She knows exactly how to tell the right story that needs to be heard. Okay, and play on people's emotions and stuff like that. She really, it was great. And also coming out and saying there's more information you may not even have at your hand. I'm sure the police do know all that stuff, but she's willing to step up and tell everything that needs to be told. Cupcake is saying this was supposed to be preliminary again, where we live here in Wisconsin. They push back cases all the time. Yeah. So this bond hearing for Kay was a stall and Vang needs to have a lawyer was a stall. Yeah. And you know what? Hawaii is the same exact thing here in Hawaii. Like I said, this little angel behind me is not even going to have a trial date until 4 years after the fact. It's just sickening. And also, at some point, where does a victim have rights? I hate to say it, but it's true. And Cupcake, okay, DL agrees, and this state does this all the time. I live here, so it's sad what people get away with. This mom is a hero. Yeah, this mom she is a hero. She stood up and she said, okay, no, you know what? I know her. I know what she's going to play. I know the game she is going to play. I know the fact that she's more focused on making sure everyone knows Vang is a good guy than where's my little boy and all.
By aligning with him, she could potentially have access to his extended family and ability to flee the area. Katrina routinely will blame anyone and everyone for what happens without taking responsibility for her actions. It goes without saying she is incapable of making appropriate judgments in everyday life, which is likely being available for future court dates and questioning. Katrina has no ties to the community. When I asked her why she would go back to Jesse, she stated, I felt alone. I can assure you she is well aware of resources available, but she chose not to use them. She severed her relationship with me in October of 2022.
So stopping. Yeah, this is one of the hardest things she's ever probably had to do. Okay, we're hearing here that their relationship was severed. She dealt with behavior issues for how long? Okay, and as a mom, you want to be in your child's corner. You want to celebrate them. You want to support them. You want to be the shoulder for them. But you also realize, especially in her case, her grandson is involved in this too. And someone needs to stand up for him. And as a grandma, that's what she's doing. And she hits a good point, even with his family and all. And I'm not saying his family would do this, but certain cultures, there's definitely, okay, a tie. Samoan Tongans is the same way. A lot of cultures here in Hawaii, you get a very high level of pulling together to help each other. And sometimes in trying to help each other, we tend to not see what is actually happening because we're so focused on that support that Ohana gives that we forget to check, wait, should I be supporting? And so that was a good point she brought up there.
So there is no family in the area. While paper will show minimal income, there's unaccounted for income when compared to her spending. I am aware she allowed Jesse to claim her children as dependents on his taxes, and he gave her half the refund they received. I am also aware she receives food stamps for a child not in her care and has miscellaneous unclaimed income. In 2016, while we resided in California and my oldest daughter was having heart surgery in Wisconsin, so I was here with her. At that time, Katrina faked a forced abduction and had missing person reports filed in California. She was located in Minnesota, where she was taken a hold for erratic behavior and drug use. Officers offered to drive her to Wisconsin, and she refused to leave, stating she was there by her own free will. Katrina has struggled with depression and anxiety for many years, has a history of erratic behavior. She has been suffering from traumatic brain injury and is highly likely to forget mandatory appearances. I don't feel it's worth the risk to lower her bond, especially as the victim has not been found and many questions are unanswered.
You know what? And that's good right there. Now we're already seeing some of the things that might be used later on if this goes to trial or anything like that. Interesting the comments about TBI, traumatic brain injury, about mental health issues, things like that. And it's very true. If she's got issues with the TBI or something, she may forget where she's supposed to be and things like that. And having her in custody will help support and make sure that she's, first of all, getting the mental health support that she needs. Second of all, that she's actually coming, okay, whenever they have a court date and stuff like that. But we're also seeing right now, letting everyone know, hey, these are things you're going to be dealing with her. Cupcake is saying, the Hmong culture is very thick here. Where I live, this was where they technically landed. They were refugees in the 70s. Okay, so culture runs deep. That's actually, yeah, that's actually very, and that makes sense. That really does. Sorry. Other people in the house, right? Hey, guys. Shh. Okay, thank you. And sorry, I'm going to let the dogs, no, I'm not going to let them out. And here, you want a treat? So we get that here also, especially the first generation where you're trying to fit in and out. Was Katrina trafficked? That's a very, very good question. I feel that is a question that would be very interesting to see, especially considering her behavior, potential issues. That'll be very interesting to see. I would not be surprised to see something happen there, but who knows what that is. Yeah, Cupcake saying I would not be surprised. Yeah. And this is, I have a funny feeling, okay, if this goes to trial, there's going to be a lot of difficult things when it comes to defense for her because of the things she's dealing with. Yeah, she would definitely okay, for sure into drugs. Yeah, definitely there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But I think it also makes pure sense. She needs to be she's still not talking or anything like that, and her son is missing. And there's enough thing as we go through this amended complaint in a few minutes, there's enough in there to be like, you know what? You need to be talking. And so, yeah, let me go back to this.
She does need to be held accountable for what rules out in the future. And I feel releasing her, she would be a flight risk. I have been the victim on her verbal and emotional abuse for a very long time. If the court finds any reason to reduce her bail, I would like to be assured of my peace and safety with a court-ordered no contact and GPS monitoring.
Wow.
Right. So the court's primary consideration in determining bail is.
So I'm not going to play the rest of this part because we all pretty much know what came out of that. Okay, it pretty much, is that what you're reading, Seal? Okay, got it. That's how Jesse knew her. Would make sense. It would make sense. We know that the way this ended up, Judge was like, no, no need for you to get, okay, a decreased bond. We're just going to hold the way that we have everything going right now. And I think, is it next Wednesday will be the next date for them all to come together. We do know that Jesse is trying to get a lawyer. Of course, there's a whole couple things they're having to go through the process to get it done in the correct way and things like that. So Wednesday, I think, is when we're hearing if things go as planned, what should be popping up next. So let's see. So decrease in the bond. There is tomorrow for those of you in Wisconsin. If you're near the area, there is anyone in Green Bay. There is going to be a search tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. People are meeting at 3302 Thompson Court, which is in Green Bay. They are going to be searching a couple trails, the UWGB and the Baird trails. So if anyone's in the area or knows anyone in the area that might want to help, that's a wonderful way for you to be able to help at that point. So let me pull up next the amended complaint for us to start addressing and going through. So let's see if this does good enough for you guys to read. I can make it a little bigger. Let me see if I can do it. There we go. So we're going to go through this. Let me ask first in chat. Put a 1 in chat if you have seen the amended complaint. Put a 2 in chat if this is the first time you're seeing the amendment. Now they've done a second one. This is amended. This is not the original one. It has a lot more details in it. Details that are going to piss the hell out of you. Be prepared. Warning, trigger warnings, all that. Okay, DL, those are wooded areas around both of the trails. Okay, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. So hopefully we have that. And in the bushes is saying, I read Jesse was friends with her baby's daddy and he was her baby daddy's cousin. You don't know if it's true or not. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, we got a fair share of both 1s and 2s in chat. Okay, that's great. And see, that's my thing because I usually think by the time I get on live, most people have seen. So this is great. Okay, so that we can kind of go through those of you who've seen it. Give us your thoughts as we're going through. Okay, for the other ones of you, this is the time that you can actually find out a hell of a lot more. And like I said, be ready because, yeah, trigger warnings, number 1. And number 2, just, yeah, don't have anything breakable near you. Put it that way. Hi, Cat Mama, by the way. I also, every time I see Music City Mom's font, I love that font. It's so cool to see something different. So, okay, so we're going to go through this. It's not super long. It's only something like 5 pages, 5-6 pages. Okay. So it's not super, super long, and some of it is stuff that we already know. So this is the one against Katrina. Oh, this is something. Is that it? And in the bushes. So the undersigned complainant, okay, is saying that this is true and all. We know how that goes. Count 1. So we're going to go through the counts. Okay, first count being, okay, chronic neglect of a child, specified harm did not occur. Okay, party to a crime. Then there's an obstructing an officer for not talking, okay, or telling lies and stuff like that. Another obstructing an officer. So we've got a couple things in there. Those are and of course the last one, neglecting a child. Exactly. In the bushes, there is more that we do not know right now. I'm happy they've given a little bit more information for us to have a better idea. But if you guys remember when we first read through the initial one, how upset and pissed off we were, this is going to make you even more mad. And also, so probable cause. So just knowing those 4 counts, I suspect we're going to get more counts as time goes on, but that's where we are now. So on February 20th, the Two Rivers Police Department was notified by dispatch that Jesse Vang had called 911 at 10:59. So 1 minute to 11 a.m., he called 911. He reported that he was babysitting a 3-year-old child, the victim, who we all now know as Elijah. Sorry guys, I've got someone right outside my door right now. When he woke up, he said He was there. Elijah was there. Okay, watching the child. He fell asleep. Cassie Wrigley, hush. Hopefully, Crisp is doing its job, guys. When he woke up, Elijah was missing. Law enforcement responded to the Vang residence. They then attempted to locate him. Okay, and they have been unsuccessful in locating him. They've been checking a bunch of different areas. I think they even checked a uh oh, I'm forgetting the landfill and stuff in this case also, which is just heartbreaking. Yeah, they did right at the beginning. So on the 20th, Detective Klumpian of the Two Rivers Police Department spoke with Vang at the residence. Vang said he is in a relationship with Elijah's mom, Katrina Bauer. Vang stated that Elijah had been staying with him recently. He said that he was trying to help mom correct Elijah's bad behaviors. Again, this is a 3-year-old who is going to be corrected and taught how to behave and be a man. Okay, we won't even get into all that stuff yet because we will be in a second. Let's see, sorry. He had been doing this for approximately 1 month, but not continuously. Vang stated that on the 20th, he woke up his autistic teenage son. He then helped his son with getting on the bus at about 7:30 in the morning. Seal is saying it's been too long. I'm not very hopeful that I think that's where all of us are right now. I think there comes a point in all of these searches where you try to have hope. You try to have hope, but it becomes more and more realistic that you're looking at an ending that no one should ever have to see. And yeah, it's been what, 11 days, something like that now. Actually more than that at this point. So at 7:30 he took his son to the bus, his autistic son to the bus. Vang stated that Elijah was still sleeping after he walked in from taking his son to the bus. He then woke Elijah up at 8 a.m. and brought him into the bedroom with him. Vang stated he shut the door and he fell asleep. Okay. Vang stated he woke up around 11 a.m. and found that Elijah was gone. That's when he called 911 to report Elijah missing. So already we're getting this picture of what's happening. Okay, they come in. Elijah is initially the talk is like, oh, Elijah's going to be just standing there playing whatever. Later on, we find out no, he was being punished at the same time. And then Vang goes to sleep. And on February 20th, Detective Lieutenant Glazer spoke with Mom. Mom stated that Elijah had been in the care of Jesse Vang for approximately a week. She lives in the Wisconsin Dells. Bauer stated she dropped off Elijah with Jesse Vang on the 12th. So, 6 days earlier in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. She intended on Elijah coming back to the Wisconsin Dells on Friday, the 23rd, so 3 days after he disappeared. The same day, DCI agent Neil Lofi did speak with Mom and she denied that she was in Manitowoc County area on the 16th, 17th. So this is where we're starting to get into the area where there was some lying going on, and they were able to figure this out pretty dang quickly. Detective Klumpian is aware that pursuant to search warrants, law enforcement did conduct forensic extractions of both Vang and Bauer's cell phone after they were consensually turned over to law enforcement. Based on analysis of both of these phones, specifically location data obtained, that law enforcement obtained information that contradicted Katrina Bauer's statement. So her phone told the truth. She did not, her phone. And it did show, statements that she had not. So she had been in Manitowoc area on February 16th and 17th. Law enforcement located messages from Vang to Bauer at approximately 6:39 p.m. And then 6:39, and then 10 minutes later, 6:49 on the 17th. In those messages, Jesse told Katrina that he was angry at Elijah because he overfilled his diaper with poop and pee, and that Jesse gave Elijah a cold shower. Vang noted that the child was clean but scared. So that's pretty consistent with what we were being told earlier. A little bit more descriptive, but pretty much the same. Seal, I forgot, had she been taking Elijah for a few weeks, or was he had been over there for short amounts of time, if I remember, and I think this might address that somewhere further in here, but this was the longest. He had this whole discussion about teaching Elijah how to be a man and punishing him and discipline and all started during a discussion. It sounds like over Thanksgiving is when this really started happening. But I think there's a little discussion about exactly how long in the past. In the bushes, you're not sure either? Okay. Detective Lieutenant Glaser spoke with Mom, and she stated that Vang was the enforcer of rules in the relationship. And that was the reason for sending Elijah to stay with Vang. She discussed with him the limits of what discipline she wanted used or did not want used in this case. Other than that, she is fine with whatever he wanted to do. She gave examples of discipline. In her eyes, this is what she counted as okay discipline. Okay, we don't know what completely happened yet. Definitely was not this. She said that included praying, saying he was sorry, and going over 4 rules that Elijah is supposed to be memorizing. I don't know if we've ever been told what those 4 rules are. I would love to actually know what those rules are. Oh, you guys. Okay, here. Cassie, 1 second, guys. Sorry. Okay, there we go. At no point, okay, here we go. At no point did she admit she was in the city of Two Rivers between the 12th and the 20th or had any face-to-face contact with Elijah. She said she was discussing behavior issues with Vang around Thanksgiving of 2023, and he said she needed to try harder to stop the behavior. She made the decision at that point to let Vang teach Elijah by example how to be a man. She said the first time Elijah had gone, okay, so here it is. So he had been there before. Seal, could he have been grooming him? They would not. I don't know. I don't know. If there was any sorry, I'm going to let the dogs out the door 1 second. They are driving me crazy. Mom can deal with them. So sorry, guys. Yeah, could there have been any trafficking? That gives me nightmares right there. Really gives me nightmares there. We have not been told the rules. Okay, got it. With this guy and with the questions we have with Katrina and stuff like that, I can't help but wonder. I'm not saying one way or another. Scares the hell out of me that could have been a possibility. And so here comes another pup. You want to sit with me, little Cassie? You can sit, Wrigley. You can sit with. Yeah, I'm training him to be a man. A 3-year-old needs to know how to be a man. Totally. Okay, so she said the first time victim, hi mom, had gone to say, sorry guys. Can you guys? Thank you. Sorry. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, got it. Okay, okie dokes. Thank you, mom. Love you. She said the past week was the longest time. So the first time that Elijah had ever gone over to Vang's was in January. So I guess they had discussed everything between November and January. And January, hey, brand new year, let's have some New Year's resolutions. Okay, Elijah, your first New Year's resolution is to learn how to become a man. Okay, that's, oh my God, it pisses the hell out of me. Um, so she said the first time was then. She said the past week was the longest that Elijah had stayed with Jesse without her being there. So Detective Lieutenant Glaser said, while talked about this past week, she admitted she had been in Two Rivers on February 16th. She said she left the Wisconsin Dells around 6 or 7, and arrived in Two Rivers late at night. She saw Elijah on the couch, but he was tired. She said she left early morning on the 17th. She was confronted about being in Two Rivers on a different day, and she did admit she was there on the 14th for a period of time and went home. So, hey Lioness, how you doing? So definitely some things within that. She's which made sense to me. I mean, their boyfriend girlfriend, and they're not spending Valentine's Day together. Oscar, I'm sorry, not going to be tonight. No, I had to cancel one of the lives, but I love you, my dear. Sorry about that. I know for those of you who love Cantina, we usually do Cantina at this time, but I got really busy today, and also, but I love you, Oscar. Um, so let's see. Let's go back to Vang made consensual. Okay, whoop, sorry, going back. Okay, here we go. On the 20th, Vang commented to meeting with law enforcement of TRPD and agreed to consensual interview. During the course of the interview conducted by the detective, Detective Herman also spoke with Jesse at the apartment prior to going to the Two Rivers Police Department. Jesse made consensual statements in regards to his recent interactions with Elijah. Vang stated that Elijah was afraid of him, then corrected himself and stated, he respects me. He stated that they put Elijah here as a punishment for his bad behavior. They were trying to teach him how to be good here and at home. Vang indicated that he is trying to make him understand that going home is a privilege for him. First of all, in the bushes, love you, sleep tight, get a good night's sleep, and I'll talk tomorrow. Love you, my dear. Love you, Oscar. And that always gets me, okay. I think you do have to, okay, I'm going to give him one little benefit within things. I don't know if, does anyone know, is Jesse first generation or is he second or fresh off the boat type? Because I do know sometimes you run into issues where you don't, English is not your first language. So words come out and then you realize you're saying the wrong, oh, you're staying up. Yay! Oh, I read the rest of that in the bushes. Sorry, I just read the rest of that thing. You love us. She loves us, guys. Thanks, my dear. I love you. Stay, Ubu, sit, Ubu, sit. And so I love it. And so that mistake of saying he was afraid of him and then changing to he respects him, was that a language faux pas from just not having English as a first language? Possibly. I don't think so. I think he knows deep because the two of them know what's right and wrong because they're trying to lie their way out of things. So I think initially is like, oh yeah, no, he's scared. No, he respects me. That's what he does. He respects me. It's not about fear at all. It's all respecting. But this is what gets me right here. This whole thing that home is a privilege. How many of you would ever consider your home being a privilege based off of good behavior? Okay, that is, yeah, he meant it, Seal. I agree. You know me, I got to play all the sides. And but yeah, no, I think you agreed it totally. He is American born. Okay, so he is not. Okay, perfect. So I do check into that because living in Hawaii, I deal heavily with that. And understanding English is not always easy. I mean, even pronouns are hard here. We have certain groups of people who confuse pronouns all the time. English is not an easy language, but no, you could tell from a lot of stuff here, he knew exactly what was going on. But this whole thing about the privilege of being able to go home as a privilege is sickening. I mean, it to me, using home as a privilege, if that's, oh God, I don't even want to see what discipline can even look like if you're already using home as part of that discipline. And Vang stated the Elijah was disciplined using timeout. So again, I said that's normal for people. He knows he needs to tell people. That's how we're all taught. Okay, nanny. Okay, the nanny shows and all say 1 minute per age timeout. That's how you discipline a child. So he's trying to get at that here. He described that timeouts, though, were standing for periods of time, not 1 minute per age, year of age, but what turns into 1 hour per year of age if you truly look at it. I don't think he ever counted it as that, but that's kind of what's happening. Oh, yeah, he can stand for 1 to 3 hours. And the fact that he's saying 1 to 3 hours, my suspicion is the actual times he was standing was much longer than that. And just based off of what we're hearing. And it could be, some of these things could be culture based. They really could be. Some discipline is culture based. Okay. He described the time, okay, as 1 to 3. During this time, Elijah was required to pray or say, I'm sorry, mommy. Vang reported that Elijah was in timeout for a majority of the time he was at that house. Jesse said it was intended as a form of boot camp. Other than getting into things, Jesse was unable to identify specific bad behaviors that required a timeout. So that's the first thing. Yeah, you can see people asking, okay, so you're there to punish a child. What is the punishment looking like? Well, we now know what punishment was supposed to look like and what it really did look like to some degree. And then on top of that, well, what did he do that was wrong? Well, he got into things. Tell me a 3-year-old who doesn't get into things, gang. I'm sorry. That's what 3-year-olds do. Okay, their life is getting into things. Okay, they're learning how to become independent. Lioness, I think this is the only one that was 3 in their house. What is strange for me is that he had another child who was autistic but a teenager. That could come into play a couple different ways. Was that teenager, did they have to deal with any type of discipline or abuse? Or was all of the anger, frustration all aimed at Elijah? Two different possibilities there. Okay. You think it was training for a specific thing. That is so scary. But the longer we're going and the more we're hearing, the more I could see that. Because especially with the fact we can't get any specifics other than for getting into things, there's something very, very insidious underneath this. That's my biggest concern right now because we're not getting specifics. Thang was unable to identify specific bad behaviors for which a timeout was required. He reported that Elijah is not potty trained and that he is still wearing diapers. Okay, that happens. That does happen. And yeah, Lioness, that is part of the thing. Autism is fairly new. Okay, when you look at behavior modification, you deal, okay, mental health issues, behavioral issues, it's health in general. Autism is new. How do you treat a child with autism? Okay, there's so many new options. And if you are the type of parent who doesn't want to look at ways to help, okay, you just run in directions wherever the emotions are going to lead you. And um so with the diapers, Vang advised that he changed Elijah's diaper at least once per day. So this little boy is not potty trained. He's wearing diapers, but he's being changed. And I know I said this last time, once a day. You guys in chat, put to me, if you have a child, not newborn or anything, but okay, a little older, okay, how many days a week? Those of you with even a 3-year-old at your house that is potty trained, how many times do they go to the bathroom each day? Once? No. Give me a break. Okay. I mean, I don't know if they really honestly knew how bad this sounds. And that's what scares me, because usually they want to tell the police, and from what we've seen, you want to tell the police everything the police want to know. Okay. In the way that they want it. Okay. You want to look good. And yet you're saying stuff like this. That's just, oh my God. No. A kid goes to the bathroom more than that. If they're going once a day, I mean, they're dehydrated, number one. They're not being given food, things like that. Don't even get me started on that. Seal is saying 6 to 7, and the bushes is having fun with us by saying once a day. So it's, yeah, don't get me going. On the evening, yeah, once a day. How about every time you pee or poo? Yeah. Okay, in a nursing home, we try to aim to do rounds every 2 hours just to make sure we catch anything. Okay, because if you are sitting in a dirty brief, you are having very high level of acidity up against this, okay, your skin. And you're going to have skin breakdown, things like that. Yes, a child's skin is a lot healthier than an elderly person's, but they're still having to deal with the same level of acidity, causing rashes and other skin breakdown issues. Okay, yeah, in the bushes. This is what they told the cops, thinking that it sounded good. So what was the real truth here? Okay. On the evening of 2/19, so the night before he was reported missing. Okay, Vang advised that he changed changed the diaper prior to him going to bed at 8 or 9. So remember that time frame, 8 or 9, his diaper was changed. He then watched Ready Player One prior to putting him to bed. He stated that Elijah will stand in the corner or stand by the bed by me. He gets, quote, he gets pretty tired from, I guess, like from standing too. He explained that he doesn't want to be mean, but he's trying to teach him to be more respectful. He was asked about February 19th and if he made Elijah stand, to which he replied, yeah, for probably like 2 to 3 hours. So again, kiddo who should normally be in timeout for 1 minute per age, so 3 minutes, is standing for 2 to 3 hours. Vang confirmed again that Elijah stands for 2 to 3 hours without sitting. Guys, how about we all stand up for the rest of this live and not move and see how that feels? Vang confirmed again that Elijah stands for 2 to 3 hours without sitting. In the evening, Elijah tries to sit down. Of course, he's tired. He's been standing all day, probably the whole time he's been awake, in my own opinion. Okay, and Vang will then say, you want cold water? He then indicated he's fine. It's not like his knees are shaking and about to fall over or anything like that, you know? Okay, so we find out later about Elijah's fear and intense dislike for cold water, and how that's being used as a disciplinary tactic. On the morning of 2/20, so the day he disappeared, Vang woke up at approximately 7:30 in the morning, prepared his son for school. At that time, he saw Elijah sleeping on the futon sofa in the living room. Vang took his son to the bus stop and locked the apartment door. Let me see what we got in chat. JP, how you doing, my dear? And let me see, taking Tylenol. Oh, we're talking about Tylenol and autism. No problem, my dears. Upon returning to the room, to the house, unlocked the door, walked into the house. Okay, and at that time, he noticed Elijah was still sleeping on the sofa. He then woke up Elijah. They ate breakfast. He reported that Elijah ate some cereal, which had frosting on one side and wheat on the others, no milk. So he got shredded wheats without any milk for breakfast. Then they went to his bedroom where he was told to stand and pray near the foot of Vang's bed. He did not change his diaper because he was too exhausted, too tired. Now, guys, can you remind me what time he had his diaper changed the night before? Not sure. I think it was 7 or 8. Let's check. 8 or 9. 8 or 9 p.m. So now here we are. Okay. He has been woken up. Okay. Woken up, had breakfast, still no diaper change. Okay. Because he was too tired. It's okay for him to sit in a dirty bed. Shredded wheat with no milk. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But they're feeding him okay. Yeah. Okay, part of me wonders if they actually stopped feeding him. This is pure me guessing, gang. Did they not feed him as much stuff because they were worried about they knew they had to feed him something, but that means cleaning a diaper too. JP, no, this is not a child in the suit. We don't know where he is actually yet. He's been missing since the 20th, and mom and mom's boyfriend are in jail right now, but it is not that one case. Yeah, if you believed it, it's just, oh gosh. Yeah. Um so here we are. He's standing there, too tired, when asked about toys. So okay, he's been there, supposed to be there for around a month. What toys did he have to play with? Okay, Bang reported that he had one toy that was given to him at Christmas time. Toys kind of like a toolbox. However, his one toy in that house, he was not allowed to play with during the week that he had been there, as he was in time out for the whole weekend. As a 3-year-old boy, not allowed to play with anything for a whole week because of timeout. When asked what happens if the timeout does not work, because I can guarantee you at some point those timeouts aren't going to work, because if that's what regular life is, they're not timeouts, they're not discipline. It's what life is. His life is nothing but discipline at this point, gang. Okay. Jesse stated he would give him an ultimatum. Jesse reported that the ultimatum was usually, do you want some cold water? Bang reported that Elijah did not like cold water, but he didn't know why. He denied following through with any ultimatums. When he asked about what Elijah ate when he was with Bang, he stated that they had had pizza, noodles, cereal, and similar items. So, noodles, I have a funny feeling they're talking more on the ramen side, but I may be wrong. But no matter what, I can tell you, other than the pizza, there's not much protein in a lot of that stuff that they just mentioned there. And also, Cupcake is saying my daughter's got tested for autism. We're getting, yeah, it's a lot more out there. Definitely a lot. Yeah, JP, 3-year-olds don't comprehend. There's a reason why you give them 1 minute per year. Anything after that, they forget why they're there. Okay, and that's the problem. They forget why they are there. And also, it just becomes real life for them at that point. Are there any gangs? That's a good question. Cupcake, you know the answer to that one? I'm suspecting, yeah, almost every culture has their form of gangs. But I don't know what they're named. But my guess is, yeah, I can't wait to hear what Cupcake has to say on that. He stated that Elijah was still being bottle fed and he was trying to get him to eat regular food. He was unable to provide specific details about the food. While Jesse was sleeping, he would lock the door to the apartment at the doorknob, the deadbolt, and a security chain attached at the top of the door to keep Elijah from walking out of the apartment. Vang reported that on the evening prior to Elijah going missing, he had consumed 3 12-ounce Budweiser beers and 1 cyclobenzaprine as a sleep aid. So okay, there are gangs there are gangs everywhere. So okay, massive drug and trafficking too. I'm really, and that's why, guys, I'm still holding hope. I hate to say it this way, gang, but hope's always there. There's chances that he may no longer be with us, but if something like trafficking is involved, he is still out there and can be brought home. So yeah, just something within that. All those locks, and he's saying he's so good at always making sure things were locked, and yet the whole focus at the beginning was he walked out. Name me a 3-year-old who's is what, about this tall, who's able to get deadbolt, security chain, and all those things unlocked. No, it's not making sense. That's why, Seal, you're thinking he was being trained for something else. And you know, knowing what training is like for those things, you're making my blood turn into ice right now. You really, it's not something I had actually thought about. And guys, I am being real with you guys this time. This tonight is a little bit more looking at possibilities, but we need to remember they're always just assumptions. The police know the truth of where things are going, and they may know some truths that rule something out or rule it as a possibility too. So, yeah, really bad parent. Oh yeah, JP, literally, I don't think you were here at the beginning with this one. Mom literally sent her little 3-year-old boy to this guy, her boyfriend's house, to teach him how to be a man and to discipline. So that's what we're dealing with here. Katrina Bauer, mom, and Jesse Vang's cell phones were reviewed by law enforcement, including text and Facebook messaging. On February 13th, okay, the day before Valentine's Day, at approximately 9:30 p.m. So now we're going to get into some newer stuff that has popped up. This case started out basically, JP, the boyfriend woke up at 11 a.m. and the 3-year-old was missing, completely missing. And he was like, oh, I think he walked away or something like that. Someone must have taken him or he walked away or something. It's turned into something different than that. I hate to say it. And really, yeah, cat mama. Oh, it's blood boiling at this point. So, on February 13th at approximately 9:30 p.m., the night before Valentine's Day, Katrina Bauer and Jesse Vang began discussing Katrina coming over to Jesse's apartment for a little fun together. Okay. Jesse says that Katrina cannot see Elijah when she gets to the apartment and that Elijah can be placed in the bathroom while they do what they're going to do. Okay. So, still, the punishment is you're not even allowed to see your mom. Mom's not allowed to see her son, even. And at approximately 10:12 p.m., so about 45 minutes later, estimate, Katrina sends a message to Jesse and Elijah can sleep in the car. Then at approximately 11:45 p.m., he says Elijah will be put in the living room and Katrina needs to be quiet walking through. So it sounds like the two of them were having a fight about where Elijah was going to be. Okay, it sounds like Jesse was like, okay, while we have our little night together, okay, we'll put Elijah in the bathroom. And then mom's like, no, I don't want him to be in the bathroom. Okay, can't we'll put him in the car. How's that sound? And then Jesse comes back saying, no, we'll leave him in the living room and all, but you got to be quiet when you come through and stuff like that. And yes, Seal, dad is in jail, has been for over a year. And Katrina needs to be quiet. So at 12:39 a.m., Valentine's Day, Jesse asked Katrina to send her location so he knows when to put Elijah to sleep. That scares me a little. If he is keeping Elijah in the living room, you can't guarantee a 3-year-old is going to go to sleep at any specific time. yes, he can say, okay, go to bed, go to bed. Okay, but I'm a little nervous about the wording of that. Now, I don't know if there's anything actually there behind it. It could just be me feeling off about it. DL, I think it's talk about two different children, children one. Oh, you're right. You're right. Children one and children two. So we're talking about, okay, let me look at the children two. Date of birth is 2017. So that would make them, okay, so number two is Elijah. Is that how you guys are reading it? Or is that another child? No, that's the other child. That's the her other child. Okay, got it. That is her other one. Yeah. Let's go back through that right now. I'm trying to figure out child number one is going to be Elijah. We know that. Child number two is her other child, I think. Guys in chat, let me know. Is that true? First, I thought maybe it could be the autistic teenager, but that does not fit with that birth date. Because 2017 to now, that would make about 7 years old. So yeah, I think that's other child that we have. And Cupcake. I'm only okay. Got it. How is any child awake that isn't sick? Yeah, exactly. At 2:45 in the morning. That's another point right there. Great point there in the bushes. Why aren't they asleep at that time to begin with? It is her daughter then. Okay, deal. It is her daughter then. I didn't want to say that. I knew she had a daughter, but I didn't know if that was who it was. I hadn't heard how old she was. And so, okie dokies. Okay, let's go through this, but I'll use number one and number two, and we can work it out from there. So, at around 9:30 p.m. on the night before Valentine's Day, Katrina and Jesse started texting each other and discussing about Katrina coming over to Jesse's house, okay, for a little time together. Okay. Jesse said that Katrina could not see Elijah, child number one, when she gets to the apartment, and that child number one, Elijah, can be put in the bathroom while they have sex. She left her daughter in freezing temps in the middle of the night. That's exactly what, yep. This is the arrest, the criminal complaint. And so they're going to put Elijah in the bathroom at approximately 10:12. Katrina then sends another message to Jesse saying that her daughter can then sleep in the car. Then at approximately 11:45, he says instead of Elijah being in the bathroom, Elijah will be in the living room, and that Katrina needs to be quiet while walking through. First of all, yeah, she left her daughter in the car on a winter's night in Wisconsin. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. At 12:39 in the morning on Valentine's Day, Jesse asked Katrina to send her location so he knew when to put Elijah to sleep. They also discussed her stopping at Quick Trip in Manitowoc while on the way. That same morning, Katrina Bauer's cell phone arrives in Two Rivers at approximately 2:27 a.m. Hopefully, Elijah would be asleep by 2:27 in the morning, no matter what. There were Facebook messages between Katrina and Jesse. At 2:35 a.m., Katrina asked Jesse, "Is there a way to shut off your headlights completely?" Jesse responds, "No, cannot sit off completely." So, no, you can't do that. Katrina messages, "I can't find my daughter's cell phone, but a cop just passed by, so I want to make sure she's good." Her daughter is a child for which Katrina Bauer, so child number two, is a child of hers. And Katrina Bauer indicated that that child is autistic to law enforcement. If this poor little girl wakes up in a strange area in a car with it cold, yeah. Katrina messaged, "Let me find her phone quick because I need to have some type of sound for her." Jesse managed, probably thinks someone is warming up. Katrina responded, not worth the risk. I'll leave it off for a bit, then turn it on again. So Jesse said, okay. So I'm thinking she's talking about the car at that point. Is that what you guys are seeing there? That she's saying they're talking about turning the car on to warm it up in there. And she's saying, oh, that's too much of a risk. So I'll just leave it off and I'll just keep coming out and turning it on every now and then. Is that what it's sounding like to you guys there? And to me, that's as dangerous as we hear about children who are left in their car in the summer in 100-degree weather. To me, that's as dangerous as this. Okay, that is how you rate it. Okay, in the bushes, thanks. And she messaged she found the phone, but it was dead. So she drove all that way without charging it. Yeah. She messaged she would leave her phone in the car. She questions whether to leave her phone on, but mute it around 2:40 in the morning. Wow. Wow. She also messaged, it should stay warm for a bit, right? He responded, yeah, it will. Oh my God. At approximately 3:13 in the morning, a photograph was taken and the GPS indicates she was at 3918 Mishicot Drive in Two Rivers. The photograph shows Elijah laying down on a bed. Elijah had a blindfold over his eyes and appeared to have bruising on his jawline and neck on the left side, as well as bruising on his upper left arm. Now, again, remember, this kid is supposedly only being disciplined by standing up all day and praying or saying, I'm sorry, mommy. But he's got bruises on him, a blindfold over his eyes. And they tried to get rid of this picture, by the way. Katrina Bauer confirmed that she took the picture and later deleted it around 4:12 a.m. So she took the picture as she went in and saw him. Katrina Bauer's phone leaves Two Rivers at approximately 4:30 a.m. on the 14th. So not there long at all. What, maybe about 45, 4:30, 3:30, hour and a half maybe is what I'm seeing here. Wow. I haven't read all this stuff. I got through about half of it and then I got so mad I had to put it down and I meant to go back to it and I've been too mad to go back to it. Let me go back to this part here. So, according to the National Weather Service, records for that night, the low temperature for Two Rivers on February 14th was 27 degrees Fahrenheit, and the high temperature was 36 degrees. I got news for you. High temperatures do not happen over the middle of the night. So this little one was sleeping in a car where the temperature outside was in the upper 20s to lower 30s. And the bish is good. In fact, I meant to say something about the bed because supposedly he was being left on a futon to sleep on a futon, yet the picture is on a bed. That's worrisome there because those words of the bed were not her words. I could see potentially someone who is used to futon beds calling a futon a bed. I could see that, but I don't see most police using the word bed for a futon. And so that is definitely something there. And then between injuries, the mask, okay, the blindfold, I have heard some thoughts as to what may have been happening at that time. And was this all part of cover-ups and stuff like that here? In a review of Facebook Messenger messages between Katrina and Jesse, officers located a photograph taken on February 15th, approximately 8:24 p.m. So the next night after what we just had happen, Okay, 824 showing Elijah standing in a corner in diaper only. Hands were in a praying position and the diaper looks full. It appears to have been taken at Jesse's apartment. They sound like they're power tripping parents that weren't ready to be parents. He definitely had that going on. Seals really got me worried right now on a couple things. So, the phone records further indicate that Katrina Bauer returned to the city of Manitowoc on February 16th at approximately 11:01 p.m. She called Jesse Vang's phone about 11:15 and went into Quick Trip store to purchase items which were confirmed by surveillance video. At approximately 11:21 p.m., Katrina Bauer texted Jesse Vang's phone. On ONM, put him to sleep. Jesse Vang responded, okay. Katrina Bauer's phone arrives to the apartment around midnight. So she's telling him around 11:21 to put him to sleep so he's asleep within 40 minutes. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel on this, and this is me totally making an assumption here. The push to put a child to sleep, I'm wondering if they were being given like a Benadryl or something like that to ensure that they were sleeping. There's no proof behind this, guys. This is me. That word put them to sleep or something just 40 minutes before they get there is kind of worrisome to me. And that's the second time we've heard that terminology. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Those of you with kids, does it make sense that 45 minutes would be enough to guarantee that they're asleep and all that? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. So she arrives at the house around midnight. Approximately 12:30 a.m. on the 17th, Katrina and Jesse's cell phones moved to the city of Manitowoc. At approximately, yeah, in the bushes, no, in all ways, you feel like it's talking code. That's the thing I'm having problems with. The wording of that just feels weird for some reason. And I'm trying to figure out exactly in what way. I think that's something the police probably know that we probably aren't going to know for now, at least. At approximately 12:50 in the morning, Jesse Vang went to Saucy's bar in the city of Manitowoc and went inside by himself. That was confirmed by a patron of the bar. Their phones separate for about an hour. During that time, Katrina traveled to Quick Trip located. So this means that children, if they're all okay and all that, there are children in that house alone at that time of night. An autistic teenager and a young boy. The phone separated for an hour. During that time, Katrina went to Quick Trip located at South 42nd Street. Officers were able to view surveillance video from Quick Trip's store. In that video, Katrina Bauer can be seen sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle. There are no children seen in the vehicle. So that rules out that she took the kids with her. At approximately 1:45, Katrina is seen making purchases inside the store. At approximately 1:55, 10 minutes later, her phone travels to Jesse Vang's location and they return back to his apartment in Two Rivers. At approximately 5 a.m., she leaves Two Rivers. So she leaves his house and moves on and goes back home or whatever. On February 16th, the second child, so we're back to her daughter, was being taken care of by a person in the Wisconsin Dells area. On February 16th, child number 1, Elijah, was in Two Rivers and was supposed to be under the care of Jesse and Katrina. Law enforcement has been unable to locate anyone other than Jesse or Katrina who cared for the child on those 2 days. In the bushes, I would love to know what she bought also. I would love to know what she bought right then. Interesting He goes to a bar to hang out. She is left buying stuff. I really would be interested in knowing what actually happened then. Okay, what was she buying and all that? And did anybody leave the bar with Jesse? Good point. Good point. Okay. And what was he doing inside the bar? I'd like to know, what was he doing inside the bar? Was he just having drinks? Was he talking with other people? What was he actually doing during that time there? Cupcake is saying her kids are teenagers. It's in bed by 9 p.m. They normally are asleep in 15 to 30 minutes. But even if they are not, don't punish them or give them something. Since day one, it's been a schedule. Yeah. And yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. So, no one. On February 18th, so now we're 2 days before his disappearance. Approximately 4:36 a.m. Let me take this down real quickly so you guys can see everything. At 4:36 a.m., Jesse messaged Katrina, Elijah's mom. I told you to trust me. I'ma make sure he hates me and being here. She responds, don't want him to hate you, just fear you. Jesse responds, it's okay. Someone had to be the bad person. Katrina responds, I know, but either way, he can fear you and respect you. Jesse then comes back. He did fear me, but he didn't respect me. Now I'm making him respect. 4:36 in the morning. Yeah, in the bushes. I was going to say 4:36 in the morning. Why are they having this type of discussion at 4:36 in the morning? What's happening around that time is because it looks like, according to everything we're hearing from them, Elijah does not go to sleep at a set time or anything like that. In fact, part of me wonders if he is being punished until they decide it's time for him to go to sleep, stand, or whatever the hell they do. Um, but yeah, that is it totally crossed a line from I want to teach you to be a man, okay, I to fear versus respect. Okay, and respect and fear equating each other. Wow. This information, okay, from all the people that we're talking about, the detectives, and here are the past cases and all. So, wow. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I had not finished reading that whole thing because I got through about half of it and I got so angry I could not continue doing it. I had to take a break, and then it was hard to get through that one. Completely hard to get through that one. By the way, I forgot to switch this out here. So the blindfold picture, there's so many things and questions, especially with him going missing 2 days later. When was the last time he was seen officially by anyone? Right now I've got so many cases in my head. I don't want to say the wrong info. I know one of the cases, but I think it's actually Sebastian in that case. Um, wow. Yeah, so we're gonna have to see. Wednesday they'll go in. I don't know if this is going to be a case where Katrina's definitely okay. Her mom led to it completely in her comment. Okay, Katrina is so focused on Jesse being a good guy, and she's totally pulled into him 100% that she's forgetting everything else that's happening around. So normally you would hope that she would turn on him and tell everyone what happened to Elijah. The problem is she is so wrapped. I almost want to think she's wrapped around his finger. Maybe the questions asked earlier about trafficking and stuff like that. I don't know, but there's definitely a very heavy amount of control he has over her. Not that it makes it right. Your mom, your job is to take care of your kids. Plain and simple. And this little boy has been missing for how long? Yeah, she's involved completely. She's completely involved. And to the point where she's not only just involved, she doesn't see anything wrong with any of the behavior. You could see her kind of make a little comment there about, no, but I don't want him to fear you. I just want him to respect you and all. But she wouldn't push it further or anything because in the end, she defends him. Yeah, exactly, JP. She defends him. And so that's where we are with Elijah. Hopefully we'll find him sometime, maybe before Monday. It would be great. Okay, something is out there. I don't know if there's more information from phones or stuff like that. I don't know if the little girl has some information or if there's anything within her phone or anything like that. That could be interesting. So, but let's move on to more fear. Yeah. Um, Sebastian. So let me go over here to Sebastian. I don't know where we are on. We're still actually pretty even between Elijah and Sebastian with the poll. I'm going to end the poll right now. 52% versus. So we will actually, before we do Sebastian, I'm going to do Sebastian last, actually, because I do want to address Caleb. I know a lot of you guys don't know Caleb's case. And the issue with Caleb's case is because so few people do know it, we're not getting his face out there. And he literally could be anywhere right now. Put a 1 in chat if you actually, let me do this. I'm going to make a poll to replace that one. Let's see. I can type, do you know Caleb Harris's case? Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you know about Caleb Harris's case? So let me move us over to Caleb over here. So let me know. Okay. Polls up now. What do you know who Caleb is? I have posted his poster before. Caleb, from both of these cases, you know nothing about either of them. Okay. And so, yeah, I get you, JP. Picture. Okay, so his picture is right up now in the corner here. Let me see if I could pull up his poster for you guys real quickly and tell you guys a little bit about Caleb. Caleb is a 21-year-old from going to school at Texas A&M in Corpus Christi. He came from New Braunfels in Texas and has been going to school there. He went missing in the early morning hours of Monday morning. Here's his poster. And for anyone who's wondering about this one. And 21 years old. And basically what ended up happening is in the early morning hours, he around 2:45, his Snapchat shows him, okay, and where he is, located really close to where he lives, all that. He had gotten home. He had been out with some friends earlier in the night, got home, and took his roommate's dog and put it outside, go bathroom, one last bathroom break before heading to bed. So he had done that. Now, from what I'm understanding, what happened next, at 2:58, he brought the dog back inside the house. And then he went back outside for a moment in his bare feet to pick up food for meals. The dog is at home. The dog never went missing. That was a question a lot of us had. Was the dog missing? Was the dog not missing? The dog came home with Caleb right away. Caleb then turned around to go out and get his meals for, I guess at the school, it's very common for you to order meals or something. And that's when he disappeared. Within minutes, his phone was dead. Okay, whether it was dead or turned off, I'm not sure. And but there's no access to his phone at that point. So they've been looking, everyone around the school has been coming together. They've got kids everywhere trying to find out what happened to Caleb. Is there foul play involved? Did he walk away and was there a mental health breakdown or something like that? A lot of different possibilities here. Okay. Other thing could be, did he did he meet someone maybe when he was out and then something happened when he went back outside? Okay. Was he grabbed by someone? A lot of, yeah, in the bushes. That's my question too. And I just came across the meal bit within the last couple hours. So this article was actually put together, okay, private investigator. They've had a lot of people coming in to try to help find this guy. And also, I thought we'd go over this real quickly just to give some inkling into the thought process behind what's going on. So, the grandparents of Caleb Harris were among the people watching police and volunteers search for the 21-year-old grandson. He lives at an off-campus housing complex called the Cottages at Corpus Christi. Caleb, a second-year student at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, has been missing since Monday. The family did get a private investigator, and they say that the last sign of Caleb was at dawn Monday morning. So a lot of this just changed. As you can see, that it was updated actually at 9:44. So just what, about 4 hours ago, something like that. And Parker told 3 News he believes he knows what happened to Caleb based on the information gathered so far. In the bushes, I know his dad said he ordered food for the next day, but never said he went out to pick up the food. And see, that's what I heard. But I started getting stuff when I went on to a group where people were saying he was going out to pick it up, but I don't know. I don't know about that one 100%. I'm leaning towards that, but to me, 3 doesn't make sense unless it was something that was set out earlier and he had to go pick it up at that time. Sorry if you guys are catching my light is starting to do some weird blinking type things. So, there was nothing strange. Okay, so based on the information he got, so according to the PI, there was nothing strange or out of order. If you remember, in this case, he ordered his lunch for the next day. You know, they order them the day prior. So he ordered his lunch for the next day. He didn't take anything with him. You know, he's barefoot. He was probably, now this is the PI, he was probably apprehended. He was probably captured by someone, you know, taken by someone, and that's what you have to look at. Now, my question is, this is a PI for the family. I'm not sure how they're coming up with this idea of an abduction or something, unless they are recognizing someone was following him or something on that level, or if this is just something, you know, families need hope also. And maybe this is where the hope is also. 3 News asked Corpus Christi police if the case was a criminal investigation or a missing persons case. Right now, the information that I have been provided, it's still a search for a missing person, and that's where we are on it. While police in the Texas Search and Rescue Organization, known as TXR, were looking through the heavy brush behind the St. Helena Catholic Church on Woolridge Road, resident Josh Johnson drove up and showed officers a video he has that he believes is connected somehow to the case. In the bushes. That's interesting. Was there a ransom? I have not heard of one. Okay, but that could lead them to that thought process. No one would talk about what was on the video, but Johnson did speak with 3 News about why he brought the video over. I am just trying to help out any way I can. I give them everything I've got, but I am a father and I wouldn't want this to happen to my child. So I'm doing everything I can to help them. Caleb's dad, Randall, I don't know what this video would be, that he came over and shared it with the police, but it sounds to me like something the police may have even told him, you know what, can we get a copy of this and please just keep it to yourself? Because usually if you share something out, if the police don't say, oh, don't share that or something, you're going to share it. Sounds like this guy was willing to be talked to. Corpus Christi is a huge beach town, tourist town, big time. We used to go there all the time when I lived on the mainland. and all because I have family in Texas. So Caleb's dad, Randall Harris, was appreciative of the effort to find his son. We got a massive amount of college students out there. We got police out there, and they're just doing an incredible job. They're doing what they do. And then they go on there. I'm going to go ahead and play this one video here because I did not get to watch this one video, and we'll see what you grew up relative to the area. Okay, got it, JP. Let's see.
It's time to celebrate cultural harmony and goodwill
Sorry,
in the
this is
Pacific
what I'm
Rim
gonna
and
be at
beyond
this
at the
weekend, by the
Honolulu
way.
Festival.
Honolulu
Experience different.
Festival is
Police,
fun.
volunteers, and family members continue to search for 21-year-old Texas A&M Corpus Christi student Caleb Harris. Now, he has been missing since Monday.
And today, specially trained dogs were back out trying to find any sign of where he could have gone. Our Michael Gibson has been on this story all day and joins us now with the very latest. Michael.
The search did continue all around the area surrounding the Cottages apartments. Now, that apartment complex is located along Ennis Jocelyn, just south of SPID, and it's where Caleb Harris lives. Now, just down the way at Ennis Jocelyn and Wooldridge is where we found Corpus Christi police set up in the parking lot of the St. Helena Catholic Church. The entire perimeter was searched, especially the woody area behind the church. For that work, the Texas Search and Rescue Group, also known as Texar, was also back. Texar is based out of Austin and responds to cases like this one after law enforcement requests its help. There you can see one of its canines. The organization says CCPD called them down here, and they brought their two dogs right here, Elsa and Orion. They're Labrador retrievers trained to detect human remains. Nothing, though, turned up in their search here. Meanwhile, volunteers and family members were back here along Ennis Jocelyn. A drainage ditch and other areas were the focus of the effort to try and find any sign of Harris. Now, we did speak with a number of people about the efforts to find Caleb. That included Corpus Christi Police and the family's own private investigator that it's hired. That PI believes that based on the facts of the case, Harris was taken or abducted by someone. All that is coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Leslie, Mike.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd really like to know more information on why they're thinking that. Let's try this one real quickly. I think this is a different video here. So let me just check. Well, we'll find out. I think this is the follow-up that they've now posted. So
Spoke with a number of folks connected to this case, and he joins us now. And Michael, I understand that you've been in contact with the family's private investigator.
now we can get a better idea.
Did an interview with him today over Zoom, and he does believe that Caleb Harris was maybe abducted or taken somehow. He says looking at all of the facts surrounding the disappearance of Harris, it simply can't be discounted. We also asked police if this is a missing person search or a criminal case.
The grandparents of Caleb Harris were among the people watching police and volunteers search for their missing 21-year-old grandson. Harris was a student at A&M Corpus Christi and lived here at this housing complex known as the Cottages. It sits off Ennis Jocelyn, south of SPID. He's been missing since Monday, and the family's private investigator tells 3 News that he believes he knows what happened to Caleb based on the facts he understands.
And there was nothing strange or out of order. If you remember, on this case, he ordered his lunch for the next day. You know, they ordered him the day prior. So he ordered his lunch for the next day. He didn't take anything with him. You know, he's barefoot.
I may have misunderstood the part about the pickup. I'm beginning to think.
And, you know, he was probably apprehended. He was probably captured by someone, you know, or taken by someone. And that's what you have to look at.
We asked Corpus Christi police if this was a criminal investigation or a missing persons case.
So right now, from the information that I've been provided, it's still a search for a missing person, and that's where we're at on it.
While police and the Texas Search and Rescue Group out of Austin were looking through the heavy brush behind the St. Helena Catholic Church over in Wooldridge, Josh Johnson drove up and showed officers a video that he had that is supposedly connected somehow to the case. No one would talk with us about what was on the video, but Johnson did speak about why he brought the video over.
I'm just trying to help out any way I can and give them everything I've got, but I'm a father and
I wouldn't want this to happen to my child, so I'm doing everything I can to help him. So
Caleb's dad, Randall Harris, was appreciative of the effort on this day to try and find his son.
We got a massive amount of college students out here. We've got police out here, and they're just doing an incredible job.
They've really had a great turnout of students.
We also learned today through the family's private investigator that it's believed the last sign of Caleb Harris was at dawn on Monday morning.
And that's
now, if you have any information about the whereabouts of Mr. Harris.
Okay, so yeah, that is new because initially we were being told the last time he was seen was when he was leaving, when he left, with the dog. So now we're starting to get a little bit more. It'd be interesting though if they're saying around dawn. Big difference between 3 a.m. and dawn. So where was that they saw him? I haven't been able to see anything on. They're definitely keeping this a little bit more quiet. Okay, and not sharing as much. JP is asking, let me see here. Do you know if he was on a grant to that school or did he pay out of his own finances? I don't know. I do know the high school he went to looked like it was a private high school. So, but I don't know fully outside of that. Initially, I thought maybe one of my nieces actually knew him, but it turned out they went to different high schools. So yeah, and Texas A&M is an amazing school, and they're all coming there to help support each other. So that story, that case is just, there's been a little bit of a update with it. Looks like police are definitely looking more on something happened to him that night and he may no longer be with us type of thing, but we'll have to see outside of that. So our last case for the night, and for those of you guys on the East Coast, especially my mods, once you guys get sleepy, you can go to bed. I love you. I was going to text you guys and say, guys, if you're getting sleepy, go to sleep. And I'm going to sleep. Yeah, I'm doing a little later live than I normally do to try to see if, actually, for those of you guys who are here right now, does it work better for me to do a later live? I usually do lives earlier in the afternoon for me, but this is actually, right now it's 7:40 here in Hawaii. So this is actually a better time when it comes to Hawaii time, but I don't know if it makes it easier for those of you guys who want to watch or not. So let me know what you guys think about that. So, okay, let's go with Sebastian now. A lot of people have been following Sebastian also. I do know there's a couple of you who don't know Sebastian's case, so we will go through that a bit. So let me see. Put a 1 in chat if you don't know Sebastian's case. Put a 2 if you know about Sebastian. Let's get an idea how many people know the case and don't know the case right now. And what I'm going to do real quickly, I have an update from the sheriff. And then what we'll do is we'll go through one of the interviews that was done. But let me bring this up. So Sebastian went missing, I think 11 days now, 11, 12 days now. And let me see. Okay, we got some twos. Hey, Sienna, I hope I'm saying your name right. Welcome, my dear. Okay, here, let me see. Let me pull this up. It should be Nick Ferris. Okay, here we go. So what happened with Sebastian, and that's a little cute guy up there. 15-year-old Sebastian is on the autism spectrum. And he actually, family went to bed the night before. He lives with his mom and his stepfather. Dad is in their life. In fact, they say all 3 parents kind of co-parent together. They all communicate with each other, and you're going to sleep good tonight, JP? Yes. They all kind of co-parent. They talk about how they want to raise him, what issues are going on. Okay. They really communicate with each other from everything that we've been told. And he lives with mom and stepdad. Stepdad was at work. He was out of town at work, and mom was with him the night before he disappeared. I did say it right, Sienna. Yes. Welcome, 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 Sienna. I love it. That's the other reason why I thought I'd try to do a later time, so I could try to get a couple other people out here, because I know this is a time not a lot of people go live. So Yeah, thank you and welcome, my dear. Um, 2 hours ahead. Yep. If you're Pacific time, you're 2 hours ahead until time changes. Hawaii doesn't do time change. So, yeah, that's going to be a fun one. All of a sudden, now I'll be like 3 hours or 6 hours from the East Coast instead of five. So, but mom actually, in this case of Sebastian, mom and Sebastian were home the night before. And around 9ish, Sebastian got ready for bed, and school was the next morning. He said goodnight to mom, went on to bed. Mom was sitting on the couch and got on the phone with her husband, stepdad, and then fell asleep around midnight. The next morning, around 6 a.m., mom woke up and got ready to get ready for the school day and stuff like that, and went in and found Sebastian missing. He was completely gone. He did not have shoes with him. He did take a flashlight. You do recognize this case now, JP. Yeah. And he had a flashlight. Oh, at least we think, because it was missing. But all his shoes were there. He just was not there. So they got the police involved, and police have been looking because this is a young man with autism. He's pretty high functioning. He is verbal, but does have moments of nonverbal. Okay, so depending on what's going on, that could be affecting things. So he went missing, and people have been trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And I'm not sure how many of you guys feel that do know this case. I know there's a lot of different thought processes going on right now about what happened. I know the family's going off the idea that he wandered away in the middle of the night. And they've done a couple interviews. There were some things that happened today where some other YouTubers have talked about, some professionals who did a great job with Letitia's and talking about her words and how she used words and things like that. But there's a lot of questions with this case because we can't find him. There's been no inklings of what happened. Why would a 15-year-old wander away from the house in the middle of the night without shoes on? There could be reasons behind it. They did actually yesterday look in a landfill. Now, the landfill thing, no one really knows why. At first, people were like, did the dogs or did any of the investigation come across any blood or scents or anything by the trash cans? Police never really came out saying why they were doing it. They said they were just doing a thorough investigation. They wanted to be as thorough as possible. So they decided to go and rule everything out, which included checking out the landfill. Earlier today, they finished that up yesterday. And today they put this out saying the search for Sebastian Rogers continues as authorities conducted a thorough search of the landfill on 3/8/2024. Despite exhaustive efforts, no leads or evidence pertaining to Sebastian Rogers' whereabouts was discovered. So throughout that whole thing, they were not able to find anything that leads them to where Sebastian is. He was reported on the 26th in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Law enforcement have been involved from across the state to look for him. The decision to search the landfill was made in accordance with ongoing investigative efforts and information gathered in the search for Sebastian. However, despite the extensive search conducted by trained personnel, including the use of canines, the operation yielded no results or negative results. While we had hoped for a different outcome, our commitment to finding Sebastian remains unwavering, stated Sheriff Sonny Weatherford. We will continue to explore all available avenues and resources to bring closure to this case and provide answers to his family and loved ones. The support and cooperation of the community and the guys, this community, again, this happens every time. Every time someone goes missing out of the community comes together. Okay, it's amazing to watch how that happens and how people really everyone comes out of the woodwork to see how they can help out. Okay, we've had that over here with Audrey's case, and some of our members of our community did the same thing there too. So they asked if anyone has any information, please let them know, because it seems like they're at, and maybe not, maybe they aren't at a standstill, but it still has this feeling that they don't know what that next step is. Okay, who is involved in this? We've been told by the family that they've been cleared. Um, but I know there's a lot of people who have concerns on that level. We did go through about 4 or 5 days ago. We actually watched an interview of mom and the stepfather. Um, what I found was another interview, which I wanted to bring up, and I thought, especially for those of you who don't know this case as much, this is a second interview, which is always, in my eyes, important, because we can see, is there new information, number one. Okay, and number two, are there any changes in behavior, any changes in what people are saying? You name it, all those things. Because as time goes on, yes, as time goes on, people also become more distanced from what happened, and their behavior is going to change too. His case is odd. It's like he walked into a freaking wormhole. Okay, it truly is like he just disappeared. There's nothing to go on whatsoever at this point. Now, maybe there is more. Maybe the police have. Maybe there was a reason why they went to the landfill. Okay, maybe dogs have hit on something and we don't know about it. I'm going to try to turn my light back on, guys, if you don't mind. It's a little darker. Hopefully that'll work. If not, I'll turn it off again. I'm way washed out when I do that. And so anyhow, this video actually came out, and I haven't watched the whole thing, but this was the other night, okay, on the 5th, so 3 days ago. As you remember, they were interviewed another time before, so there are some more additional information that comes up in here. But like I said, I wanted to take a look at it rather than looking at what other people are saying about it or anything. Because there are a lot of people who have started making decisions about guilt, innocence, things like that. Those of you guys who know me, I just am having a hard time believing this mom has anything to do with the disappearance of her son. There's just something about her that it reads honest and true and heartbroken and all those things to me. I know a lot of people, there's some questions and concerns about his stepfather and the way he shows himself. And the question is, though, is the way he presents himself truly showing guilt or innocence, or is it just the way he presents himself? Stepdad is part of law enforcement. He understands things and deals with stuff exactly in the bushes. And that's my thing. I don't have evidence to go after them. I know there's a lot of people who are, and everyone has their own right. But I mean, I've said it before. When Cleo went missing, I was one of the ones who was like, yeah, I think her parents, and I was wrong. I was wrong. And I think sometimes we're all different and we all respond differently to stress. Someone who comes from a law enforcement background or a medical background or something like that can often come across very cold. Okay, so someone who is not used to that type of person may not realize that something is going on, that that's just who they are. JP, yes, these are the parents that we're going to watch. If you go back to my video from the other day, you'll be able to see the first interview. I do want to go through this interview. It's not super long, but it's a little longer. I'm going to be alive a little longer than I usually am tonight. It's 22 minutes long or so. So we are going to watch this. Let me know what you guys are thinking. We'll stop it every now and then to kind of go over what we're hearing here as compared to what we've seen in the past. But like in the bushes is saying, I'm not seeing anything that is inconsistent. I'm not seeing, and some of the things people are seeing honestly could be explained away. Okay, I've heard people make comments that, well, they didn't talk right away to the community at large, okay, and people on media and stuff like that. Well, don't know if how many times you guys have talked to families, but a lot of families are told by the police, don't talk to the media. Do not get the media involved. Do not talk to social media and stuff like that. So I think we need to be willing. Yeah, you were one of the ones who believed Cleo's parents. And see, that's it. And I felt so freaking bad that I questioned something. We don't even know that. Yeah. Yeah. We've got to be careful about those things. And if we're going to make a decision, it's like JP is saying, hey, let's watch this. Okay. And the reason why you do that is because you want to gather as much of the information as possible. If you're going to make a decision based off of a 2-minute interview, then you're not getting the whole picture. You've got to look at the whole picture. So let's go ahead and start this. Hopefully I got the volume up. Yes, I do. I don't think we have subtitles though, so sorry about that, guys.
To your home to talk with you all. Obviously, everyone wants to hear what you have to say. And it's all about bringing Sebastian home.
Exactly.
And safely. So first, just express, I can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to stop it right there with what In the Bushes said. Yeah, we don't know their timeline. How can we say they're not being consistent or they are being, to be honest? You can't say either, to be honest. And because we don't know what has been told to the police. This is what the police know. We are not the police. We are not the police. And right now, from what I'm seeing, I believe them. I believe now, yes, there are certain things that I will say feel weird, but I think it's more how especially stepdad handles stress differently than the rest of us. And so
through. How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. It won't stop until he walks through the door.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Not anyone.
I know we're about keeping hope alive. I'm sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And I've talked before. When I talked about this case before, I mentioned about how there have been cases even recently where years later, an autistic child who disappeared showed up again. And so hope is there.
He's gonna come home.
He's gonna walk through that door. And this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
That boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home.
And sorry, I'm not going to stop it as much as I've been doing, but one of the comments that we've been told from the beginning is that Sebastian always wanted friends. Okay, as a young man with autism, he's socially awkward, I guess you could use that word, but he had some friends, but he wanted more friends. Okay, and that's what he'd ask for birthday, Christmas, things like that. And because of that, that also puts them at a very high risk for falling for people who don't have the best thought in mind for them. And that's something I can't get out of my head with that. That's a good question in the Bushes, how long they've been together. I honestly, yeah, we know Sebastian's 15. How long these two, I'm not sure. Good
So
question.
here we are, 8 days now searching for him. Walk us through that Sunday night that he went missing. So walk us through, we've got so many people who really want to know, okay, how did this happen? So kind of just walk us through that night.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom, I love you." Said goodnight to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed, and when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
So in your mind, that's usually around what time? When do you normally wake up? Around 6 o'clock?
6.
So were you instantly thinking something's wrong, or were you like, he may just be already in the shower, in the living room?
I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, "I can't find him." He said, "What do you mean you can't find him?" I said, "He's not in the house."
And so at that point, is that when you call 911, or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house, and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department and made the report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes, they were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
So you said you were on the phone with her, so you were not home?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I was at work. I'm a tower crane operator, and I was working in Memphis at the St. Jude Project. So it's, I have an earpiece in that talks to my phone. I have another earpiece in that does the radios. So when she was talking to me, it was like, what? I was confused. We talked about where he could possibly be, and then we went from there and led to calling the cops, and here we are now.
One of the things that I noticed a lot of people were saying is that when they talk about what all happened and everything, it's very much like everything was normal. It was a normal day, and then this happened, and then okay, that night before he said goodnight, I love you, and I said this and this and that, and it kind of felt like almost a laundry list type thing. And some people have started saying, well, you know what, could they have just put that? I don't know about you guys. That's how I am. Okay, most of my life, I've literally been more on, okay, I'm a nursing home administrator, things like that. So I'm very, very analytical, logical, and stuff like that. When things like this happen, I become even more so. And so I want to, if people want information, I want to make sure they get everything there. And that's what they've been telling us, everything that happened. But at no time has any of that stuff become inconsistent. And that's the difference, because when you get someone who's lying, in my eye, this is just my opinion, and I may be completely wrong, guys. We all have a right, we all have a wrong, but a lot of times, okay, it's the inconsistencies you look for and stuff like that. Sienna, let's see. I am leaning to believe the mom. She saw you're leaning exactly where a lot of us are going. Mom is, you can feel the emotion, the nervousness, the pent up energy just ready to come out of her right now. Her baby is gone and she wants her baby home. Okay, she's trying to hold it together as much as possible. Okay, I think that's everyone I've talked to is like, yeah, no, that. Where some of the comments have come is stepdad tends to be a little bit more, there's something people say. And I don't know if that's something, because there's something there. It's just a different way. Is it truly something that happened there? Or is it just that's the personality of the person? Is that person much more analytical about things? Is that, for example, like me, I was saying one of the things that kind of got me is, and I don't know if we talk about it in this case, in this video, but people have wondered, could Sebastian have gotten in touch with someone via social media? Okay, if he wanted friends, stuff like that, social media. I mean, I just did yesterday with Amy a whole live talking about social media and how kids can talk their way around things. And that's what they do. They know how to work their way around the system. And even, okay, a child, especially someone who's autistic. I have friends who have autistic children, and their autistic children are so good when it comes to computers and figuring out how to make things do what they want it to do. And I know in this case, his stepfather is like, no, 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 no. We would not allow anyone on the internet. They were not allowed social. He played Minecraft, but was not allowed to talk to people, all those things. That has been where the one thing that I see people maybe having some questions with, because it's so no. Instead, well, maybe at school he figured this out, or say it's like no, really in control. But also, when you're dealing with this type of thing and you have so much going on around you, if you're the type of person, maybe me, I have to be in control at all times. Doesn't make me a bad person, but I have to be in control. I have to have some control of my life. And right now, with what's going on with them, they've lost all control over everything. So you grab onto any control you have. So I think a lot of us, we've got to look at all of those possibilities and know the person who's going to make the final decision are the police. And right now, the police are not saying that they are suspects or anything like that. And this mom, like Sienna said, Mom, you could feel her right now.
And within minutes, they're there at the home.
Yes, ma'am.
It was rapid fire. They had cars.
They
They had
lined
cars from here down to
the main road.
road, as far as I could tell.
So what's going through both of your minds? I mean, are we panicking? Is it this, oh, I think he's probably at a neighbor's house, or what are you thinking?
My son doesn't run. He's not a runner. He's never run away before.
That's a good point. Good point.
I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means. But there's answers to questions that have no answers, or questions with no answers right now that we are searching for desperately, and we just don't have that.
Is there anything that happened that day that you think back and there might have been a reason he was possibly upset, or something outside that could have enticed him to go outside? Was there anything that came to mind?
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking. Everyone we were
I did not, Cat Mama. I did not, and I don't know if one of my mods have a quick, easy access to it. I don't mind playing it if you guys want me to. I don't have it in front of me. I need to find it. But yeah, I know that one came out too. It's a lot. Yeah. Let me see if I can track it while we're doing this.
around that day agreed that he seemed like he was in a good mood. He was behaving. It'd make more sense if we'd been fighting.
Or he'd been in trouble, but he hadn't been in trouble. So, I mean, the $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
What about social media? Was there anything that, anyone he could have contacted? I understand he was somewhat of a gamer, or what was he? There was a video game he loved, right?
Minecraft. He loves Minecraft. The game that he has is not online. He has the Switch.
We don't, because of how social media can be, he doesn't have accessibility to communicate with folks
On the internet.
on internet. I mean, we have a firm belief that we just don't feel that right now he's capable of having that kind of responsibility. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, his phone is locked down, his computers, his gaming. He doesn't have a gamer tag. He doesn't have online capabilities with games. I mean,
We've combed every electronic.
And the other thing I'm going to say right there, even with my thoughts, where kids can find their way around anything, and the police would know. The police are going to know. I guarantee you, the police have gone through because he did leave his phone at home, but he doesn't normally take his phone. He's not like a normal teenager who is like attached surgically to their phone. Okay, they said that he would often forget his phone and they'd have to remind him. And police would know. So, yeah, my mind might be going and jumping to the idea, okay, did he use his school device or something? I'm sure the police have gone through and looked at that. By the way, I don't know if I've got the full interview. I may have gotten to it. I don't know. I'm checking it right now.
I mean, we've cooperated with all the authorities as far as anything they've asked us to provide, we've provided, and still just don't have any answers.
Did he have any friends that could have possibly contacted him in some way on his phone?
All his friends at school have been questioned to my knowledge, and none of them knew anything.
So this big question mark. He's vanished, and no one can figure out where or why. All right, so let's talk too about the relationship involved, because the biological father is very much involved in Sebastian's life as well.
Yes, ma'am, very much.
Right? And how would you describe that relationship, the two of them and the four of you?
It's relatively good. I mean, we talk regularly. He talks to his son on a regular basis, sees him on a regular basis. He's involved in school and therapy, and I mean, he doesn't have any extracurricular activities, but I can tell you now, if he did, his dad would be in the front row.
I mean, two different households, and the communication between the three of us is great. I mean, yes, we're just like every parent. We all have our disagreements, but in the end, we come together as a team and we work and we come up with solutions that as we best see fit. I mean, he's...
Yeah, in the bushes, that's one of the things that is this barefoot business that a lot of people are trying to come to terms with. We're told Sebastian hated dirt and bugs and stuff like that. That's why a lot of people will say, okay, especially younger children with autism are drawn to water. And they're like, first of all, at his age, that may not be as much, but no matter what, they're like, he would not go into like a lake type water because it's dirty. Okay, he loves water, yes, but it's swimming pool water, not that type of water. As for the shoes, though, on the other hand, okay, even outside of sensory thing, okay, would there be issues with grasping dirty? Okay, and things like that. So I don't know. Yeah, something within there. JP, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to imply guilt. No, I get you. And that's the thing. That's the thing I think a lot of people feel, that we're wanting to believe, and we do believe, but there's something there and we're not sure what it is. And it could just be personality. Okay, or it could be something else. Sienna, I don't believe his friends are telling all they know. There are several reasons why kids, yeah. The other issue also is I don't know how many of his friends may, okay, have autism themselves. Were they all kind of together? Were there others that he kind of worked within? Okay, could be a lot of different things. And that's it, JP. And I think that could honestly be, first of all, you got to realize we're 11 days into this. So things are calming down also. Nothing ever calms down. You have your moments, okay, but it's like after I lost my dad, the first few days, I couldn't stop crying. But as time went on, things changed. But the other is he's from a law enforcement background. And you kind of learn how to put things into small little rooms in your head when that happens, when you have that ability to calm yourself down and be like, okay, the only way I'm going to get through this emergency is to keep my mind focused at the end goal and to do what I need to do to get. So could that be what's going on also? But he is very calm. And I think that's what's throwing people off. And again, that could mean something, or it could literally just be personality. You bingo, this is me. Okay, I rule in or rule out nothing, but he didn't walk into the woods barefoot on his own. Yeah. And I agree with that. I'd be interesting. Was he missing a pair of socks or something like that? So that would be interesting too. So anyhow, I'm still looking for the interview. I'm not sure if I have the right one.
I'm almost in contact with him almost daily.
Dad.
Let's talk about Sebastian. Tell me about Sebastian. How would you describe him?
Sweet, stubborn. He loves to help. He loves running, and he loves to play his games and his fidgets and Uno. Lord, that's one of his favorite games right now. Favorite color is green.
Does he love music?
Oh God, he loves music.
An eclectic taste.
I mean,
An eclectic. I mean, from as everybody knows, Eye of the Tiger to Eddie Vedder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got Pearl Jam on one hand, we've got Survivor on the other over here, we've got Taylor Swift, and
he's got a big crush on her. I mean, country, rock,
no
classic.
hip hop. We don't allow the hip hop.
Well, he doesn't really
Well,
get
I say
into it
rap and
anyways.
things.
You mentioned he loved running. So did he love the outdoors at all? I mean, would something outside that was somewhat outdoorsy be enticing to him or pull him outdoors?
He loves, like, when we were in California and the school had this lap thing to gain money. It was a fundraiser. And every year he was, I did this many laps, I did this many laps. I mean, I've got t-shirts where they would write on his back. Every time the kids went around, they'd mark a mark on the back and they'd keep running. And he just had marks all the way across his back.
And that's the thing, Sienna, that's how my feeling is that it makes complete sense what you just said. Okay, because me, I can go by and not cry an inkling. But if someone else around me is crying and my emotions are heightened, I'll lose it. I'll completely lose it and be crying like a baby. And so I can completely see that. And you know what? You have to be, I would rather err on the side of saying someone is innocent in a case like this than point because everyone points fingers. It's the first thing people do is they point fingers. And it's not good. It's not fair to the person, especially if they are innocent. It's not right.
He likes playgrounds. He hates being dirty. He don't like being dirty.
Yeah, he's not your tomboy style child where he goes outside and plays in the mud.
He loves animals, but he's terrified of bugs.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing, the woods. You're terrified of bugs, you're not going to go into the woods barefoot. It's not making sense. I know, in the bushes, you're good about not, and that's it. Everyone I'm seeing here is really good about not pointing, having questions, but not pointing fingers. We'll never do it. But yeah, no, I think with the fear of for bugs and not liking dirt and stuff, it just does not make sense. Did he go outside and someone, and that's why I can't help but wonder, was he able to connect with someone who he thought was a friend? We don't know those. Police, I do think, may have better ideas on those things, but the police are really they're letting us know everything. They've been great about that, letting us know stuff and giving us enough information without sharing what's going to hurt the case.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even a fly, and he's like,
And
Me too.
Let's talk too, because he's highly functioning. I know you all have described him as having a form of autism.
He does.
But describe that to our viewers too, as far as his way of thinking of things and maybe how determined he was about certain things or his mindset.
He
He's got a stubborn mindset. If he believes it's this,
He gets on a one-man track and he is just
Yeah.
on it, and he is all about it.
but I mean, he's very smart.
He's
I mean,
smart.
he can play chess. He can beat adults in chess.
Wow.
So he's
He loves playing games.
What about navigation? Like, did he have a sense of direction? Do you think he could have possibly even hitched a ride or gotten a ride on a bus or some sort of transportation?
that is a speculation that we don't have an answer for. Just
I mean-
directionally, he knows he could guide you from our house to his dad's house.
Yeah.
He could get from like this house. I think he can make it up to Culver's ice cream.
He can go to
You're getting the
Culver's.
same
Oh,
facts.
boy,
He
those
knows
malts.
where Culver's is because Culver's has malt.
Uh-huh.
He loves malt, extra malt. Every time, extra malt.
Now, how far away does his dad live?
Clarksville. His dad lives up by Clarksville.
So he could guide someone all the way to Clarksville.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a pretty keen sense of direction, at least with certain things.
Familiar routes.
Yes.
Familiar routes. Okay.
Familiar routes.
I mean, if I took him another route going
He
this way,
takes
he would
it.
not know it.
He goes up there so often that he knows how to get to his daddy's. We know that.
His dad works with him as far as, well, we're going this way, we're going that way, and keeps the same thing, and it works out. So
Let's talk too, because earlier, Chris, you and I were talking, and you were saying that there are a lot of people who are harassing both of you. What of any of that do you want to address? What do you want to say to any of these people?
This opens up another issue
Just
that was
the-
happening.
You don't know. And I don't wish you to ever know.
I would say it like this: everybody has an opinion, you know, and it's perfectly okay to have that opinion. But you're not in the situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different, wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts. If they have questions, all they have to do is ask.
And I pray genuinely that no one ever goes through this.
Wow, Sienna.
Just be kind to people. I mean, it's real simple.
They've had a lot of people pointing fingers because that's the first thing everyone does is they point fingers. It's just something that, and especially recently because we've had so many cases that have turned out to be connected to family and all recently. I mean, you look at these cases recently, and I think anytime that happens, people are even more so to that level. Plus, there were some issues in the past between him and custody case and things like that. So people start taking that and they start connecting things that may be connectable or they may not be connectable. But we don't, as humans, we don't like open-ended problems without a solution. We want a solution to everything, and our minds will keep fighting until we come up with a solution, okay, and an answer to what happened.
There are some people who have been talking, because I know this is part of the harassment. Is there anything you want to address about this child custody situation?
With the previous.
So I have a current case that is ongoing in another state. We've requested that case to be sealed because there are some individuals who have taken it upon themselves to put stuff out there that they don't quite know, which all they have to do is ask, I'll tell you.
True, JP.
But because of that, you know, it has nothing to do with our son. It has nothing to do with the situation. You know, I just, people would respect that and then
Love
keep an
body
open mind.
language.
It's totally different.
If Sebastian was able to watch this, and maybe he's watching this as it airs, and if he is, what do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
That we love you so much and we want you to come home, and you're not in trouble.
This is their interview combined.
I guarantee you he is loved. And trust me, the open arms are waiting for him to come home. From every parent to every family members to probably everyone in the community. But there's no malice. We just want our boy home. Bad. Badly. But
That mama's heart, I know it's daddy's too, but I feel like there's always that extra special bond.
There you go.
Can you walk us through what
We're going to move to, yes, the national park system and what has happened there. That's a wild. That gets wild looking into that case, the various cases going on in the, oh my gosh, don't get me started.
you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at.
Let's talk about the community, because I want you all to know, even my church body, I mean, we're all praying for his safe return quickly. What do you all want to say to the community?
with everything from the bottom of our hearts. I would not have imagined how far this has gotten, but there's no way to repay the gratitude, the love that we have felt from the community, the prayers. But thank you.
But
from the
don't
bottom of our
stop
hearts.
looking.
Yeah, please.
My son is somewhere.
Actually, JP, first of all, AJ, hey there, my dear. Yeah, we started at 6 tonight, my time, instead of 4. So it's a little later, plus it's a little longer than normal. And I did come across Bio Dad's interview. So it's a short one, only like 6 minutes. But to go along with what you were saying, JP, it's also important, I think, for the neighbors and all. They may have looked in certain areas, but go back and look again. Just because a child wasn't in your, utility shed 6 days ago doesn't mean that they're not there now. Because if he has been walking around or moving from place to place, and I know that most likely not, but we don't know right now. We don't know where this case is going at this point. He might be somewhere now that he wasn't when it was looked at. So it's important to keep looking. So, yeah.
This ain't over until he's home.
So we have, let's mention, let's hit on the search itself, because we know thousands of miles have basically been traced and retraced. We've got hundreds, we've got volunteers, we've got law enforcement from within the state, from outside of the state. I mean, do you feel like they're doing as much as they can? I mean, you all have been right there in the front seat, seeing everything that's underway.
As far as I know, they're doing everything. Anything and everything has been an option. They have brought in assets and resources from various counties, potentially other states. I mean, I don't know how much.
JP, he was actually seen the day before, from everything I'm gathering. So they had gone out to, what was it, Costco? Not Costco, but a place kind of, I forget the name of it. But yeah, so there isn't this is one of the cases where his disappearance was reported immediately. Within minutes of them discovering he was gone, they reported it.
More they could do. But we're grateful for everything they have done.
They're amazing, but they still haven't brought my baby back.
They will. They will.
He's out there somewhere. So it's one day at a time, getting through this.
1 hour at a time.
Bringing him home. What is the reaction to the fact that somehow his image, he hasn't been captured on any video anywhere?
I know that it was very dark that night. I mean, it gets dark around here at night in general.
We did check. The moon was at 97% full. So not quite full, but it was really close to, so it was dark, like she said. But someone did ask, I forget who it was. Was it Click and Go? I forget. But they wanted to know what was the moon like to get a better idea of what the light could have been.
But so far we haven't found him on any camera footage to prove where he's at or where he's gone. I know that they're looking, and I'm asking everybody and anybody that has cameras, trail cams, stores, to check even from before he went missing, just to see if there's anything at all.
And I understand there was a request for video, any sort of footage of Sebastian from earlier in the day on Sunday before he disappeared.
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this point with law enforcement. That is something I would definitely direct back to them. But I mean, there's all kinds of requests out there. There's thousands of hours of video that they are combing, and we're just hoping they'll find something.
And I know this is so sensitive. What do you say to people who inevitably end up pointing their finger back at you? We were talking earlier, and I mean, are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board.
Yeah.
We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided. So cooperation is there. I mean,
What do you want to say to our viewers? Anybody who's watching, we've got a lot of folks in this community and in other counties just throughout the state as well. What do you want to say to them?
Help spread the word and keep searching, and thank you. And just, if you think you see him, call him in.
thank all the viewers, everybody that's helped from across the board. I mean, everybody has been tremendous.
Call his name.
Yeah.
He'll answer, and if he doesn't answer, he'll at least, he'll look, even if he's not being verbal at the moment, because he can talk, but sometimes he don't talk. Call his name. Tell him to stay put.
And he could be on the move, so keep checking your properties.
Yes. The search is never over until he comes home. That is for sure.
So smart.
But thank you for everything that everybody has done, has volunteered, the continuous efforts. I mean, it's, like I said, I've never seen something to this magnitude before.
Our community is amazing.
We're all praying, hoping,
Your
and
community
searching
has done an amazing job. So.
for Sebastian's safe return for that day. Thank you both for talking.
I'm
with
going to
me.
move us over real quickly to Dad's interview. So that was Mom, okay, and Stepdad. I did find it, so let me see what I can do on sharing this real quickly. And it's a short one. It's not nearly as long as that last one. But this way you're now able to hear from all family. Now, this is a telephone version. Let me see. Here we go. Okay, and you get a picture of him and his dad here. So I'm not sure how many of you guys have actually heard this one. This was a few days ago also. I forget exactly how many days ago was this. Let's see, March 4th. So there we go. So okay, let me make sure I check. No CC. Sorry about that, gang, but here we go.
As his father, tell me a little bit about your son.
He's got a big heart.
It's really
He's
soft.
loving. You know, he's inquisitive. He can be stubborn at times. He loves to play video games. He loves animals. I mean, he thoroughly loves animals. He likes plants, He likes to, grow things. He likes to take care of things. He loves his video games. Boy, the kid loves his video games.
What has the
Pause for a second. AJ, thank you. Thank you. That Corpus Christi case, we talked about it a little bit tonight, so hopefully they'll find him soon. So thank you for doing that.
last week been like for you as a father?
My heart is missing somehow, somewhere out here, and I'm just trying to find him. Yeah, I don't know where he's at. I can't find him.
And when was the last time you got to see Sebastian?
Last time he was at my house. So I was supposed to have him last weekend, and it would have been 2 weekends prior. He was at my house, and I got to see him. We got to play video games, watch TV. Had a great weekend.
And I mean, obviously, it seems like, what has it been like working with law enforcement? Have they been great, you know, trying to help you with this search?
They're definitely doing everything that they can to find my son, and I thoroughly appreciate it. And I hope that they find him every day. I'm waking up hoping that they find him.
And obviously, so he's autistic. Are there any like tendencies that he may have? Like, does he like hanging out like in the trees or by water that could maybe help people find him?
He does like creeks. I mean, he loves to go fishing with me. But if he's in the city limits, he's, video games. He'd probably be, maybe an arcade or something.
Okay. And has he ever done something like this before? Just leave the house for a short period of time or anything like that?
No.
And I mean, how much sleep have you lost over this last week? Walk me through kind of what that experience has been.
I haven't had very much sleep at all.
Two things real quick. AJ and JP, that's kind of where things were leading initially. And that's why even me, I've said if he started off that way and then he ran into someone who he felt could be a friend, it becomes dangerous quick. AJ, yeah. And that's where some of the thought is. Just FYI, the only game he really, really played was everything was offline. And then mine, whatever. Oh gosh, I knew I was gonna space on that. Sorry, it's getting late here. And he's really been like, family has really chomped down on top of his internet security. So there's no access into the internet, talking, because he was autistic. They took extra steps to ensure that he was safe. No social media, things like that. So family is like, there's no way on earth that he got talking to people. Minecraft, that's it, Minecraft. Sorry, you can tell I need more coffee. And Minecraft, that's it. Thank you, my dear. And Wormhole sounds like it to me at this point. Seriously, that's what's happened to this kiddo. This poor little guy, he just disappeared. But the thing is, no one does disappear. Someone knows where he is. Someone out there knows. And all I can do is hope and pray that the police have an idea and they're just trying to pull all the information together. I don't even know about that right now.
I mean, coffee and energy drinks is where my main diet has been.
Yeah. And I know you said you were out there searching. Are there any particular places that you're looking that you think he might be at?
I'm looking everywhere. I'm not from this area, so I don't know it. So I'm just everywhere. I keep telling people, keep your head up and your eyes open. If you see him, call 911. If my son hears my voice, buddy, you need to get a phone and call 911,
Definitely. And you live in Clarksville, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you've been out here in the Hendersonville area just searching for him the last week?
Every day.
And I guess, are you in close contact with his mother and stepfather about the situation?
Not really. I mean, we're in communication at least once a day, but that's about it. Just I'm looking for him, you know.
Yeah. And I know, like, obviously with social media, it's tough because as a parent, you just want your kid home. But there's been a lot of like speculation too about possible like criminal investigations. I mean, what's kind of your reaction to all of that chatter on social media?
I don't have social media, man.
Okay. But just hearing people kind of speculate about that in the community, I guess, how.
I'll pause that right there before we get into the speculation of the community and all. Yeah, AJ, we know Minecraft definitely can be used on that social media side, and they said he was playing it offline. I don't know. I don't know. There's still a part of me that's very. I wonder if there was more to the internet than they knew. But again, like I said, if there is, the police know that now because they've gone through, I'm sure they've gone through his phone and his switch. He had a switch, all those things. I'm sure they know that now, if that is true. That is a thing. Yeah. I wonder if his friends, what was the friendships really like? Were they really close friendships, or were they kind of just they hung out with each other and that was it? So, yeah, interesting within those things. Yeah, and that in the bushes, exactly. 11 days he's been gone, no shoes. Okay, just what he had on his body at that time. Okay, a flashlight. That is it. No medication. He takes medication. There's no medication being taken. Okay, you can tell his family love him. His family does love him. Okay, and this is hard also when you've got family. Hearing them talk about, okay, so they're talking about once a day and all that. We automatically start filling in. What does this mean? Also, is he smarter than them with how to get online? Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of times we think we know more about what our kids know computer wise than others. I was talking to one of my good friends here on YouTube, and she said her child, who is autistic, okay, had gotten into her phone and done some amazing things to the point where she actually had to go to school because she found out he was using the school stuff to actually get into her accounts and do stuff. So even though they were locked out on their stuff, he was able to use the school stuff. So yeah, this picture, JP, this picture of the two of them, that's love. That's love. And you can see that with it. Yeah. What type of flashlight? I wish they would tell us more about that flashlight. What type of flashlight are we looking for? There hasn't been a lot of discussion about that since the beginning. In fact, to the point where I started wondering, did he actually have the flashlight or not? Because it's not like something that they keep bringing up or anything. It came up at the beginning and that was it. So
How does that make you feel?
I think they need to, you know, instead of being keyboard warriors, they need to put feet on the ground and start looking for my son. If they really want to help, that's what they should be doing instead of coming up with their own opinion. How about get out there and we find my son?
And guys, I agree with him. And I know all you guys, I'm preaching to the choir here. Okay, you know what? No, in reality, can we go over there and be on the ground and all? No, I live in Hawaii. I can't go over there and search any more than when Ariel went missing here, people could come over here and search. Okay, I get that and all, but we can share pictures. We can share information and make sure more people know. Okay, if there's ways to support the police, okay, with sending food over or whatever is needed, find out what they need. Okay, money to make new posters or things like that. We can help in those ways. And that's what we now, on the other hand, we're human. We're going to want to, when you start covering a case, or watching a case unfold, you really do start caring about what's going on there. You may never have met the person and may never meet them, but you do start caring about what is happening. And I think that's something that's hard for people to understand also, is that people really do care. But there are a lot of people who cross lines that should never be crossed, ever, ever.
And how much does your son Sebastian mean to you?
He's my life.
I believe that it's his life.
Do you have any other kids?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And I guess, is there, anything you want to say? I don't know how well you know the stepfather or the mother, but is there anything you'd like to say about that and that situation and how he just kind of disappeared from the house?
I have nothing to say about that.
Okay. And if you could say something to Sebastian right now, what would you say?
I'm going to stop that before we end up with the last thing. That is interesting, I do have to say. We're led to the three of them talking, co-parent together, and they may honestly be doing that. One of the hardest things when something like this happens is the animosity and the fighting that occur interpersonally, because people start looking for where's blame. Even, okay, you'd be amazed how many people, when something like this happens, a child goes missing, how many relationships end up in divorce afterwards. And unfortunately, that is something that happens. So when you're hearing stuff like that, is that suspicion, or is that my child was with you and now they're not and I'm mad and okay, that's understand. We've got to realize that's their thought in their head to work with. And yeah, we can put in out there what we think that means, but they're the only ones who can answer that. So it's an interesting thought within that, but it did kind of perk my ears up when I heard that myself.
If you are hearing this, son, you need to tell people who you are and tell them to call 911 for you. You need to tell people that you are Sebastian Rogers and that you need them to call 911.
And anything you'd like to tell him about returning home?
I miss you, buddy. And I'm waiting. I want to hear from you. Okay.
All right.
Call 911 so we can find you, man. Come on, son.
Wow, you hear that and gosh. And guys, that is one thing I did want to, okay, he does have autism. So if someone runs into him, I've said this before, it's kind of like dementia. When you have someone who has dementia who goes walking, okay, and wandering or something, it becomes, they may react differently if someone calls their name. There might be fear, there might be confusion, there may be a lot of different things. So I know we've said this before for dementia cases. If you see someone, okay, and you recognize them, whether it's Elijah or anyone else, and they don't respond right away, if you're worried that they might run or get scared or something like that, just pull out your phone, dial 911, and then stay at a distance. Okay, let them know where you are, because the police will get there and the police will help try to figure out the best way to deal with that person. It's like the boy in California that was autistic. He was gone for, I think it was 4 years. And police started noticing a homeless man outside of this one area, and they kept approaching him and trying to get his name, because they're like, yeah, homeless man up in the kind of pretty high elevation. It's cold. That's why people were reporting him being there, as they wanted him to be safe. But he would not tell anyone where he was from or his name or anything, because I'm sure he was nervous about it. And so when one day it just so happened they were able to It was cold outside, and they were able to get him to get into the trooper's car. And while they were in the car, they were able to take it the next step of getting his fingerprint. And then they were able to realize that this guy had been missing for 4 years and reconnect. So it's just amazing, but you just got to take the time with it. AJ said, okay, I left a comment about children with autism. I don't know if you no, YouTube may have. It was not me. I did not remove anything. So I'll connect with you later, ask a couple questions. But yeah, no, I did not. I'll find out if I'll ask all the mods, make sure no one else did either. YouTube's been doing some weird things with comments lately. Weird things. So did you leave it here in chat? Or was it a comment somewhere else? So yeah, just let me know on that one. Yeah, Minecraft though, definitely. He said he's not from the area, so he came to there just for the search, or was he in there? I think he came after the search was announced. Once he realized his son was missing, he came out to be part of the search. Let's see. People with autism or other disabilities are 9 to 10 times more vulnerable to predators. Yes. Yes. And that's what worries me is this. Okay. Sebastian wanted friends. Every Christmas, every birthday, he wished for friends. And maybe even if he did go walking, okay, as quote unquote a runaway type thing. Sorry, they're my dogs. Okay, it's very possible he could have ran into someone and thought it was a friend that he can create friendship wise. So once I'm almost done. No, I'm gonna be in a second. We're almost done. And also, mom just came by. She's like, "You want me to bring dinner in?" And I'm like, "Oh, she made dinner. I don't have to make dinner tonight." Yes, I love it. So, and runaway or not, kids, guys, the most dangerous time is being a runaway. Because unfortunately, police don't often see runaways as in danger because they have so much other stuff to deal with. So many other people missing, so many other crimes, things like that. And but these people who run away and end up getting involved in things like trafficking and other things so much quicker, and it's so dangerous. And that's why having that follow-up is good. Flashlight is interesting. I'd like to know more about that, so for sure. So but anyhow, now that I know my dinner's ready and I don't want mom getting, plus I have a bunch of stuff to do before tomorrow's craft fair. And but thank you guys all. I know this was a super long one. I don't think I've done a true crime live this long, but we had 3 different cases to cover. So it was plus an Amber Alert, which by the way, before I finish this, let me see if our Amber Alert is still active or not, because if it is active still, I want to make sure to show you. Iris is still missing. Yes, she is. So let me do this real quickly. Show this before we leave, since we've got some people here now that were not here at the beginning. And also Iris Crum is a 7-year-old who went missing on the 1st. I think it's 1st. Yeah, it's almost 1 a.m., girl. What are you doing up? I love you, girl. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you guys. Mods especially. Thanks for staying up, because you really did not. You did not have to stay up, and I adore you. Thank you so much. And Sienna is new. I'm so happy. We got a new good member of the family. And thank you. And AJ, having you here, and JP, both of my 2 OGs. And also here, let me share this real quickly. So this is Iris Crum. She is currently, whoa, what the hell happened there? So, okay, let me try that again. She is missing with her mom. Her mom is non-custodial. They've been missing since the 1st of this month. They were last seen on the Blue Fox Trail area in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. KK's here. I love you, KK. Love you. Love you, love you. Thank you for being here too, my dear. Please help us share this out. I'm going to go hit, actually, before I eat, I'm going to share Iris's information on Facebook and on Discord. If anyone wants to join the Discord, please feel free to come join us on Discord. It's literally laid back, talk story, have fun. My biggest thing is I like to share posters out there. So please feel free to join that if you would like to. Here's the link to that right there. But please help us share these things out. As I mentioned, if you have YouTube Premium, you pay for YouTube Premium, you have a huge benefit of your own community tab. You don't have to become a creator to get a community tab. All you need is to be YouTube Premium. You have that. You can go to my community tab and you can share out any of these posters. The same for any other poster you guys see. And because someone is out there, Iris right now, police are very worried about. Her mom is actually wanted by the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office for custodial interference and the San Diego County Sheriff's Office in California for felony child abduction. So we need to make sure she's safe before something bad does happen there. So anyhow, I will see you all. I'm going to go take care of that. To all the newbies, thank you guys for joining. And to all you oldies, I love you. Aloha, gang, and I have a great weekend. I will try to post some stuff from Honolulu Festival. They usually have amazing entertainment. Last year, if you go see my video, What a Wonderful World, Tuhula, that was at this event this weekend. So keep an eye out for all that stuff. Get to sleep, you guys. And in the bushes, you're the boss. Thank you, in the bushes. So much, my dear. Love you all. Bye.